Hello to anybody just joining. We're going to be imaging the Supernova in M101 again tonight. Let's just get things set up though first. All looks pretty good. Let's hit play. So we're just going through the process of actually getting set up and aligned to M101 now, for anybody who's unsure what's going on at this moment in time. First thing that's happening is I'm just cooling down my Astro camera. Then we're going to try and slew ahead and find the target, and yeah, let's get going. Oh, finally got the the chat box up. It sometimes takes a while, does this? Astro Boot, evening Luke, evening mate, hope you're doing well. Simon, good to see you. Good to see you. Have you got some clear skies for you and Glenn, mate? Alexander, hi. Oh, mate. So many people joined. Thanks so much. Jason, mate, how's things going? Danny's in here as well now. Hey there, mate. How you doing? Oh, no. Yeah, it's turned out lovely and clear here. It looked awful, actually, just a little bit earlier, so I'm glad that it's cleared up. Hogarth, Nigel, good to see you, mate. James, thanks for popping in. Nuno, no clear skies here on the Whirl. No! I've ended up so lucky. Will, hey, well, I know you'll have some clear skies, mate, as we live so close to one another. Oh, at work though, that's rough, buddy. Let's try and get things set up. Not too long now on the cooling, and it should start actually aligning things up for us. Is stream quality okay for everybody? Can you see what we're up to? Clear skies, but you have work. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Mike. Mark, Ontario, Canada. I hope the wildfires have been dying down a little bit there, mate. Thanks for that, Joel. Good to know, mate. Puerto Rico, my guy. Thanks so much for joining. That's ace. Simon says, was supposed to be clear tonight, but it turned out cloudy. No. Well, opposite seemed to happen for me, mate. It looked like it was going to be cloudy, and now it's just cleared up. So hopefully, with any luck, it will stay clear for us, and we can have a decent little chilled session and image this supernova some more. It'll be interesting to see the difference as well, because I basically processed my previous image of it. I'll try and get that open for you on stream a second. So this was just a crop in, and this is what we got from the last stream. This was just 90 minutes of data, but there you can see it. The supernova glowing bright blue up in that outer limb right there. Pretty nifty. Astra Quinta. Yeah, it's surprising how rapidly it seems to be brightening. Valdemar. Hey there, mate. Hopefully, we should be getting plate solved. So it's figured out where it is, and we're now just taking another exposure. This one should hopefully have M101 in the field of view for us. It's still kind of bright outside right now for me, so we're not going to see much for these first few images on the stream, but hopefully as the night wears on, if it stays clear, it'll start to become much more visible for us. Nuno asks, do we know how long that supernova will be bright for? So I read an article yesterday, Nuno, that suggested it's probably going to be brightening for maybe up to a couple of weeks, and then should persist for a couple of months, most likely. So hopefully going to have a good chance to see it in that sort of time frame. Astrocade, hey there again, mate. Best regards from Norway. So that's where you're from, mate. What a beautiful country. I've been to Norway before, and it's absolutely stunning. Alexander, directly out of SharpCap or stacked new. So that was separately stacked in Astro Pixel Processor and then processed in PixInsight, basically. Zaphus, good day from Melbourne, Australia. Good day, mate. Brilliant. Can't believe we've got people from everywhere here. Chloe is asking, have you set my exposures off, Luke? I have, actually, Chloe. Yes, indeed. Checking up on me. Chloe's at work right now. She works as a nurse, and I've just got her rig set up before I actually went live on stream, because I can't really do that from this PC. You'll have a go as soon as possible. My pleasure, mate. Yeah, good luck. It's pretty interesting to be able to see something like this. Normally when we're looking at these targets, obviously you never really see anything change, do you, year on year? But this, out of nowhere, it suddenly just started brightening. Yeah, very interesting, I think. Telescope Bet, hey Luke from Denmark. Hello, mate. Thank you for joining in. I really appreciate it. Chap in UK Cloud Magnet says 4 images over 4 days, which shows its brightness growing incredibly well. Looking forward to see the difference in yours, Luke. Hey, Nigel, hopefully, mate, we're going to be able to get a comparison going on a little bit later on in the stream once it gets that touch darker. I don't know if I can try and show you guys, but if you can look at the dark sky widget there on Nina, we're still very much in twilight right now, and we're just going to head into, well, not true darkness, as we don't get any of that at this time of year in the UK, of course, but we'll get something resembling it at least, certainly enough to do some imaging. No photos till November. Yeah. What latitude do you image from, if you don't mind me asking, Voldemar? We're at 53 right here in where I am in the UK. Night Sky Astrophoto. Hello from Germany. Hello there, mate. You're imaging M101 from your backyard as well. That's fantastic. Good luck for tonight, mate. Orlando, Florida. Hey there, mate. Thank you for joining. Astro Noddy from County Durham. Good to see you, buddy. You got any clear skies down there in County Durham, mate? For anybody who's watching and is unsure what's happening right now, we're just going through a autofocus routine, getting the crispest possible focus before we start imaging this supernova. 60, yeah, that will make quite a big difference, won't it? Wow. I guess not too much further north, and I guess the sun won't really dip below the horizon. Simon's Astro says, it's weird to think this supernova happened 20 million years ago. It really is weird, isn't it, mate? It seems like it's happening right for us now, but of course, as you've just pointed out, it is old history for anybody who's anything that's in that vicinity of space. Hogarth, I need to go look out, as it was cloudy in York about an hour ago. Yeah, well, it was the same here, mate, actually. I was just finishing watching a film and saw it start to clear up towards the end of the film, and I thought, oh, go on then. Can't miss out on this kind of opportunity. So how many of you out there are actually imaging tonight? And what are you going for if it's not M101? Nikki, cloudy there too. No. Dustin Gibson from OPT. I recognise you, sir. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining. Pretty clear. Oh, that's good to hear, Noddy. Cloudy in Munich. No. And the camera has a dreaded oil leak. Oh no. Well, I guess the good news is it seems like ZWO are sorting that out for people, so that's nice to see. M63 was a bust last night. Oh. I guess that's the name of the game, isn't it, mate? It's not always a swing and a hit every single time with Astro. Corinne, great to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Far too busy watching you to be outside imaging. Well, I'm very flattered, mate. Thank you. I hope it's at least somewhat entertaining for you. I'm by no means a well-qualified streamer yet, so things could get a bit, I don't know, a little bit rusty, shall we say. PR Astro, you're having a whole week of clouds and rain. Oh, hope that clears up for you soon. FLO of it being fixed now on your 2600. That's really good news, mate. Hopefully you get it back very soon indeed and can have a shot at this target if you want to. Good to hear that, mate. Any clear skies in London for you, or are you at work tonight? If you don't mind me asking, that is. Alan, evening, mate. Evening to you too. So for anybody who's watching now, just joining in and unsure what's happening, we're currently just waiting, looking at this little timer in the bottom left, if you can see that on the screen. When that reaches the end, it'll have completed one subframe and we can take a look at this galaxy and how it looks at this very moment in time. For us, at least. Or really how it was 20 million years ago for anything viewing it on M101 itself. Nikki M, I did a wide field of the tulip the other night, but it's too noisy to do anything with. It's pretty tough this time of year. Yeah, it's really warmed up here as well. Imaging M101 here too, says Mike from Hythe, Kent. Hopefully have a couple of hours before it clouds over. Best of luck to you, mate. Yeah, it's really cool to be able to even take little snippets at a target like this, because if you do visit it night after night, you can actually see the progression like Hogarth was pointing out up in the chat above. Sorry if we're just having any stream interruptions at all. Simon Thompson, morning from Perth. Morning to you, mate. TV, evening. Clear skies where I am in Salisbury, but my imaging rig is at home in Cork. This is the next best thing. Well, I'm happy to be of some use for you, mate. Yes, it's clearly way too bright to be imaging right now, I guess. So, slight change of plan, so I've at least got something to watch, because the RAS is burning out these exposures while the sky is so bright. But we can solve that for you in just a second. We'll change to 60-second exposures for a while, and we don't need it to do anything else. So I'll set this right back off, and within a minute or so, we should have something to see that's not a great big green mess on the screen. Congratulations on the RASA. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much indeed. A friend of mine did me a incredible deal on it. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have been able to afford this nice scope. So yeah, I'm really happy to own it. Fair skies here in London. Very nice, mate. I suppose this supernova is currently so bright, you'll have no problem imaging it there either. Dio crew, good to see you live again. Hey, it's good to be live again, mate. I'm happy to share my evening with you guys. It's a pleasure. When is the RASA 14 coming? In my dreams, mate, I think. This is such a squeeze, it really is, to get the RASA 11 in the observatory. Without any dew shield, it's not too bad. But because I do have to use that Celestron dew shield, I've modded it. I've cut it right down, so it's extremely short now. But we're getting there, mate. Wait, hopefully, there we go. You can see this now on the screen. So if I'm not mistaken, we're looking at the supernova right there at the moment. Just at my mouse pointer for anybody unsure. Someone probably sitting in that galaxy looking back at us watching a supernova creating the Veil Nebula right now. That is an interesting thought, and absolutely, potentially, completely true as well. Optimistic Souls, good evening. How are you doing? I'm doing fantastic, mate. Thank you very much for asking. Hope you're well too. Look how bright it is. It's brighter than the core. Good observation. It is miles brighter than the core, isn't it? I expect with visual observations this is probably quite interesting at this point. For anybody unsure what we're looking at, this is the Type 2 supernova that's just became visible for us in the past few days. Right at my mouse pointer there. What looks like a star, effectively, is actually that star that caused it all going supernova. And it's the late stages of life. We're just taking 60-second exposures at this point in the night until my skies get a little bit darker. And then we'll up the exposure length and try and get some slightly more detailed images for you guys to see. Nuno says that is to spot. Yeah, indeed, mate. It's really bright, isn't it? Astro Crypto, good evening, Luke. That is amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed for joining. Travel on. I'm in Pennsylvania. It's still daylight here, but tonight should be clear. But the scene is bad due to Alberta's fires. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, mate. Hopefully it clears up for you sooner rather than later. Simon Thompson, I forget that you guys only get around 3 hours of darkness at this time of year. Yeah, not good at all for Astro. Yeah, I mean, we get about 3 hours of darkness, and it's not even astronomical darkness either. It's not the best, but we do what we can. Marko Znajdar. Hello there from Slovenia. Cloudy here. Glad I could catch you live. I'm glad you've caught me live actually, mate. It's a pleasure. Been watching your Pixie Insight videos and learned a ton. Hey, that's awesome to hear, mate. I'm really always majorly happy to hear that the things that I've been putting out there have been helping people. Scotia Astro. Evening, Luke. Thanks for streaming this. Clouded out up here. No, it's always so rough for you up there, mate. North of the border, yeah. Vicariously living through your RAS at 11. I'm only too happy to share it with you, mate. Titch. Hey up, Luke. It's looking clear. Time to get the cobwebs dusted off the RASA, if I could talk. Yes, indeed, mate. Get that thing dusted off and catching some photons. That's what it's all about. Steady on there, Simon. Roll on the winter. I don't know about that just yet, mate. Bora. Greetings from Turkey. Greetings to you too, mate. Thank you so much for joining in. Corrine asks, is Chloe imaging tonight? She is imaging through me. Yeah, I've set up a rig for her just on her PC over at the opposite side of the warm room there. I got that thing set up and imaging her latest chosen target right before going live for you guys. So that's all up and running, and I'll just get rid of the bad subs at the start for her. Hello from cloudy Birmingham, Alabama. Stephen, I hope it clears up for you soon, mate. I'm sure you'd enjoy getting the chance to image this kind of thing. Thanks very much for joining, by the way. Right, to the observatory. I'll be back. Good luck, mate. Yeah, it's looking pretty neat. As you can see, hopefully, on the stream, these numbers at the top, the mean values, that's the background count, if you will, of photons that have been captured. The ADU count is starting to drop, so that means we're heading into the actual darkness, I want to say, of night for us, so we can soon switch to slightly longer exposures. Caminada. Hello, I take some pictures from Athens. Athens, that's beautiful. I imagine your light pollution is quite strong though in Athens. Let's take a look on the deep sky Clock, as you can see, we're starting to head closer and closer into the point where it's going to transit the Meridian. So when this line reaches that dot, imaging is going to get paused for a moment, and my telescope's going to do what's called a Meridian flip. For anybody unfamiliar, that's basically as the target transits an imaginary east-west line in the sky, it needs to change its orientation so it doesn't hit the pier effectively. That should take just a couple of minutes, and we'll be up and running again. So that's going to happen in the next couple. Bora, love your tutorials. Good night all. I'm really glad to hear that, mate. Thank you. I love a game of How Low Is Your Mean. Can we play it live? No, we can't play it live, Nigel. I know that you always win that game, buddy. Oh, good night if you are going, by the way, Bora. Thanks for popping in. Seeing a little bit of a guiding anomaly right now. So for anybody who's just joined, I will pop up an image of M101 that I took from just a couple of nights ago. So this is how the supernova looked a couple of nights ago, right around my mouse pointer just there. So it was already pretty big and bright, but it looks like tonight it's grown considerably more. So it's really interesting to see a change like that happening so rapidly. As you can see, there it is, almost as big on an unstacked image as it is on that stacked image right now. Lara Van Son, good evening and greetings from Germany. Thank you very much for joining, Lara. I appreciate that. Chris Smith, just been out to do some imaging after getting the EFW from Flow. Turned everything on and the EFW was dead. No, so dead that it kills the USB ports it's plugged into. That is dead. Wow. Any chance, I mean, it may well be just dead, but is there any chance you can plug it into its own USB if you're using a hub or something like that? As when it goes to make a focus move, it might be overloading it. We seem to be getting some occasional disconnects happening. Hopefully that's not interrupting the stream too much for you guys. Don't know if that's gone through or not, so nearly had a pier collision the other night. Wow. That is a that's always a seat of the pants moment, Simon. To be honest, I never really trusted Meridian flips for a long time, and basically used to go outside and watch every single one of them happen, hovering over the kind of power off button. Stream is perfect for you. Looks fuzzy to me. The image or the rest of the stream. Howdy all. Good to see you again, Johnny. Thanks for popping in, mate. Occasional buffering, not too bad. Alright, that's good to know. Few little blubs. And now fuzzy. Okay. So it looks like it's okay for most people. Don't know if I can really adjust the stream output settings on the fly. Don't really want to cancel it and have to go live again, you know what I mean? So probably gonna have to just go with it as it is and see what we can get. Back to normal for you now, Nikki. Good to hear. So very shortly now we should be expecting to see the Meridian flip take course. I think I've got it set to flip a couple of minutes after Meridian. Fine here, mate. Good to know, Simon. Thank you. I just keep getting little warnings popping up, letting me know. It says there's having to be reconnects happening on my streaming software. It's nice to be here sharing the evening with you guys. Anyway, thanks for joining in. Stephen Grunfeld asks, any idea how long the supernova will be visible? So I read an article the other night, and it looks like it's probably likely to be visible for the best part of a month or two max. But we're still on the upswing of brightness right now. It seems it's getting brighter every passing hour, effectively. I guess it's one of those things where nobody can really tell until it's over. Astro Boot, I hope that's a vodka and Coke. Unfortunately not, mate. And it's not even a proper Coke. It's Pepsi Max, sugar free. I'm being a good boy. Not sponsored, by the way. When did M101 go supernova? I believe it was the 19th, Corinne. Seafox, you tried to capture last night, but based in London meant the transparency was compromised by the high altitude clouds we are under. So you settled for the moon and Venus. Hey, that's something nice to settle for, at least, mate. I was just taking a quick look at the moon and Venus right next to one another. It's the closest I'm going to get to Astro for a little bit, lol. What's Chloe's rig shooting? I've honestly forgot. I'll just go double check and I'll give you the name. It's an NGC object. So it's NGC 7129. That's what she's actually shooting right now. PR Astro, love your videos. Thank you, mate. You don't have an idea how much I learned in the first year of astrophotography. Thanks, man. Mate, 4 thumbs up right back at you. Thank you very much indeed. It's really motivating to hear things like that. Michael imaged about 6 hours last week before it was discovered. Wow, right before the discovery. 2 nights down this week, and you hope to get it some more tonight. Good man. Setting up your 925 with a Hyperstar and an ASI 183. That's a lovely combination. And you're going with the Antler Triband. That should give you a really pretty interesting depiction of the supernova. High clouds here, but you managed 20 minutes worth. Nice. The 19th, 20 million years ago. Yeah, that's true, Simon. Andrew, high clouds here in Shropshire. Mate, I'm sorry to hear it. I hope it clears up for you, mate. Michael, hello from hot Arizona. Just how hot are we talking right now? I can only imagine. I'm feeling pretty warm in the observatory at the minute. We're sat at 25.4 degrees. And I imagine that's going to creep up rapidly with these 2 PCs running in here. Bill's AP channel. Hi Luke, are you using a narrowband or a light pollution filter here? So, actually neither. I'm just using a UV IR cutting filter. I image from Bottle 7 skies and from my extremely limited testing just the other night, trying to see how best to view this supernova. It looked like a UV IR cut filter was giving me the results that I found the most appealing. Corinne, I imaged M101 a little bit on Saturday night, so should have the supernova in your data. You should indeed, mate, yeah. Sugar-free Pepsi Max, that's just awful. Well, that's a matter of opinion, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. 37 degrees. Oh my gosh, mate. That's horrendous. When will it reach max brightness? Zeptom asks. Really hard to say. I'm not sure anybody can honestly say that with much authority, I guess. It seems to be still on the upswing, getting brighter and brighter. So we'll just have to keep looking, I guess, and then we'll figure it out from there. Marco, you're doing EAA with sharp cap and you're guiding. Sometimes the guide graph goes crazy and the sub is blurry. Sharp cap stacks it anyway. Does anyone know how to prevent the bad subs from live stacking? So if you use the star brightness filter, set it to be quite aggressive on its cutoff. It'll note that when the stars are blurred, they're also less bright because the total amount of light that should have gone onto those pixels, making a perfectly round star, is instead smeared over a greater amount of pixels, so they'll appear less bright in your subs. It also does a good job of blocking out subs with cloud in them as well, so I hope that helps you with that problem, Marco. Never trust the weatherman. Yeah, words to live by, mate. Wondering if it's possible to do a spectral analysis on the Nova. Can we see the emission lines with an amateur setup? I would imagine. Would imagine so, yes. Andy, good to see you, mate. Hope you've been keeping well. Just dropped in to say hi. Clouded down here in London. I was going to get a fourth night on M101. Wow, it's been good for you, mate. It looks like I just hang out with you and everyone else on the live stream. Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much indeed. AZ Forerunner, are you barbecuing this evening? Corinne asks. I want to know as well, because I'm coming round, mate. I'm booking a flight. Then again, am I booking a flight? It's 37 degrees at your house. Sounds a bit nasty. Manuel, hi from Mexico. Mate, thank you very much for joining. I appreciate having you here. Everyone hit the like button. You're too kind. But please. I'll try the brightness filter. What's the full width half max filter for? So that basically keeps track of if your subs are getting blurry and drifting out of focus kind of thing. So smaller numbers are better on that filter. So you can also be a little aggressive with that one too. Toasty. It is indeed, mate. 37 degrees. Wow. So it's just done an autofocus for anybody who's unsure what's going on. It's now resyncing the telescope, and we're going to start to see images of M101 live on the screen once again, and that supernova in every single exposure. Hello there, to do. If it's to do or Todo. To whoever asked, you can do a light curve analysis of your subs on the supernova from the FETS files. You should see the increasing brightness. Interesting. I'm not sure if they were perhaps asking if they could actually get the live spectrum from it as well. About this supernova, is it going to hurt us? No, we should be completely safe and sound, just in a cool position to observe. AZ Forerunner does a great barbecue while live streaming. Fantastic. Oh, blimey, Nigel. Thank you so much indeed for that, mate. You're too kind. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you. I never know what to say when someone does something kind like that. I'm not used to it. Crikey. Let's just check on what this thing's doing. Looks like we're getting up and running. My guide star's a little bit saturated, but we'll do what we can. So for anybody who's just joined, I see we're getting quite a few people at the minute. Within another minute or two, we should start to have images again of M101 live on the screen for you to see that supernova. And then slightly later on in the night, once it gets that touch darker for me, I'm going to start to live stack some of those exposures, and you can see hopefully a proper nice colour image start to build up before your eyes. Scotia Astro asks, which autofocuser are you using on your Rassaluk? Good question. I am using a ZWO EAF, and yeah, it's working pretty well. I have to use much larger step sizes than I'm used to, though. I think the Rasa 11's focuser gearing is extremely tall. My old Rasa 8 used to focus with steps of about 60 for each individual focus movement. This is needing 300 to get an appreciable change in focus. You've heard that you're going to be able to see it without a telescope in the sky. I don't know if I'm wrong. Probably unlikely, I would say. But I would absolutely love to be completely wrong about that one. Yeah, usually I think when you can see a supernova in the sky, if that sort of thing occurs, it'd have to be within our own galaxy. A star that's extremely close. So within a few seconds we should have an image on the screen for you guys to see. That would be cool. Yeah, I have to admit I'd love to see that. So okay, it's just done a flip. And there we have it for anybody unsure where to look. Just underneath my mouse pointer, what appears to be that bright star there is actually the supernova in M101. Telford. Hey, thanks for joining in, mate. Evening. You set up earlier, but you pulled it all in. No! I assume it's clouded out for you, buddy. I'll soon switch to slightly longer exposures. Just give it a few more minutes. With those longer exposures, for anybody unsure what will happen, what the difference will be, we should start to see a little bit more detail on the galaxy with each passing exposure. I've just started using Celestron's own brand motor focuser on your C6/Hyperstar, and it's working a treat. But you love the ZVO EAFs too. Yeah, I was really happy with the Celestron autofocuser. Look at that going through the screen. That's one heck of a strong trail, eh? Yeah, I was happy with the Celestron autofocuser on my Rasa 8. It worked well. Don't really have much bad to say about that one. You came in due to the clouds, but we'll still watch you tonight. I appreciate that, mate. I'm very, very thankful for the company. First sub coming in for you, Titch. Fantastic. Have I tried the L Ultimate filter? I have indeed, but not the version you're probably expecting. I've tried out Optilong's upcoming L Ultimate F2 filter. Pretty promising, all in. Does have some minor faults, but you know, not much these days is perfect. Though you are tucked up in bed, says Telford. Don't blame you. Yeah, perfect. Is the star called Betelgeuse the star that is going to explode into a supernova? Is it in another galaxy? No, so that's part of our galaxy, is Betelgeuse, and it is very unstable right now and could go supernova today or 1,000 years from now. No one's unfortunately really able to predict these things with much accuracy right now, but it is extremely unstable at the moment. Starlink is photobombing more and more subs. Yeah. Cheers, Elon. Still have the halos on some small red stars. Well, the L Ultimate F2 that I've been testing unfortunately does have halos on brighter stars. It's well controlled on smaller stars though, at least. And as to spurious colour around objects, I haven't really been seeing any of that on this particular setup. Anyone try stacking L Extreme and L Enhance double stack in the image train? I think you might end up with decent signal loss there, unfortunately, Mitch. As each one of those filters is going to rob some light from the next one in the train. You get your best results, I imagine, just imaging with the L Extreme out of those two. Okay, dude, space is a very cool concept and a beautiful place. Mostly terrifying, though. Yeah, I agree. It is beautiful. It is terrifying. Longer subs, 300 seconds. Yeah, I mean, you could absolutely give it a shot. I would kind of be worried about small reflections as well, from two sets of filter glass being extremely close to one another. I imagine that's how you'd have to install them. But yeah, it's worth a shot for the time it'd take, I guess, to test that kind of thing out. But I'm not sure the band passes of the L enhance is the word I'm looking for, would be useful to add to the LX Stream. You have them apart 3 inches. Wow. Yeah, you shouldn't have really any issues with halos then, so I'll shut up about that. Got ya. One in a tray and one on the reducer. Siegfried, good to see you again, mate. Hope you're doing well. Are you imaging tonight, by any chance? Johnny Bravo, wow, when you zoomed out that sub, you've got some quite interesting circular gradients going on. I assume you're using the Poseidon C. Yes, I've got some crazy gradients happening on the Raster 11. Take a look at that. It looks more extreme than it is. If I just show you a ADU readout, so our mean values here, 11.1, 11.1, into the darkest spot, just skimming 11. So there's only 100 ADUs between that apparent dark spot and the bright spot next to it. 11.1 again right here. I have tried to nail everything down with that by flocking as much stuff as I possibly could. There's one more spot left I can flock that could be causing this, and if that's not going to solve the issue, Johnny, then I am out of ideas, my friend. Nina stretching is making it look worse. Yeah, I agree, mate. It's when I stacked up the data and took a look at the kind of sub-exposures, it wasn't that bad in the final stack, and I think it will absolutely calibrate out with some flats. The image that I showed earlier, if I just pop that back on screen for you a second, this one, it's obviously cropped, but I didn't use any flats, darks, bias, or anything. This was just a stack of purely light frames. Rick Laird asks, thanks for joining, by the way, Rick. How long will the Supernova be visible in M101? Is this a feature that will be around when my clouds part soonish? Probably, yes. Expected to last anywhere from around a month to potentially 2. Scotia Astro, oh mate, thank you. Thank you so much indeed. That's amazing support. Thank you for sharing your results and knowledge, Luke. Much appreciated, mate. Have to head off, but we'll catch the rest of your stream in the morning. Have fun, everyone. Honestly, mate, and on that, thank you so much. And thanks again to Nigel earlier, too, for that show of support. That's fantastic. CFox asks, do I have a flat master? I have tested the Raster 11 out with flats in its current state, and it does calibrate, luckily. Will you use calibration flames for the live stack later? Probably not. Just since it's just a live stack and I won't actually be using that for much else than literally just to show you guys on the screen. We can just crop in and keep an eye on the galaxy like this, and we won't really see the difference from flats or not. If I was going to use that live stack though, Alexander, then yes, I would have been taking that approach, mate, and using full calibration files. Manuel asks, how many years have you been taking astro photographs? Oof, now there's a question. 7 years? I think 7 years. I've been taking astro photos, and longer than that I've been doing visual astronomy too. Slowly, my dog, my best friend, died. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, mate. So if you're looking for a spiritual explanation, I tell myself that it's just her who showed me that she arrived safely in the sky. That's very nice. That's very nice, and I'm sorry to hear about your dog there, mate. I can't imagine how that is. Siegfried asks, what scope and camera are you using tonight, Luke? So tonight I am using a Celestron Raster 11, carried on my EQ8 Pro mount. I've got basically just a UV IR cutting filter in, so no light pollution cut filter, even though I'm imaging from Bortle 7 skies, so quite bright skies. And the camera that I'm using is a Player One Poseidon C Pro, which is an IMX571 sensor. Very similar to the likes of a ASI 2600, that kind of thing. Dumpy Dalek says, vignetting is my bugbear with mine, and not too bad with the far-third sensor, but on APS-C it's a killer. Interesting. I'm not really seeing any vignette with this, but I'm using the Barda UFC system. I know that I did try it out though with the actual supplied Celestron adapter, the M48 one, and vignetting was bad on my sensor with that thing. So it looks like our sub-exposures now are dark enough that I can switch to a slightly longer exposure and get some better shots of this target. So we'll do that right now. So I will stop that exposure. I'm going to change this up to 120 seconds. I think that's about the limit of what we can get without blowing everything out because of this fast telescope. Hopefully you can see using this dark sky indicator we are now heading towards the darkest part of the night, which we would expect somewhere around the middle of that dark band. And the next exposure that comes in, for anybody who doesn't know where to look, you look at this little bar down here. That's the progress of the current exposure. Once that reaches the end, there'll be a slight delay and it'll load the next image on the screen, only a few seconds. Johnny Bravo, I don't own a RASA, so I can't really help you diagnose. Definitely looks like reflection from some surface though. Yeah, I agree. It does, mate. Hope the flocking of that last bit solves it for you. Mate, me too. Fingers absolutely crossed. Fingers, toes, and everything at this point. Michael, do you think I can stack the 6 hours without the supernova and the new data and still get the supernova? All the subs are 60 seconds, old and new. Good question. Good question. I guess because it'd probably be present in so many sub-exposures, it wouldn't get kind of taken out as a outlier by Kappa Sigma clipping or something like that. I think you could certainly stack it up using averaging stacking, but then you'd have to go through and meticulously make sure you weren't stacking images with satellite trails and things like that. I hope that's some help for you, Michael. Roberto, bias or dark flats? On this camera, I just use bias. It doesn't seem very finicky at all, but on the other camera, the Artemis C Pro, absolutely it has to be dark flats, and they have to be carefully taken too, of a certain exposure length or above. Dumpy Dalek says, is the Barda system you have M54 threads? It is indeed, mate, yeah. I have one with mine, but it's M42, so you're not going to be using that. Yeah, M42 I think is just too restrictive for the RASA 11. Hogarth, does the player one have a different readout mode to choose from? If yeah, which one are you choosing? It does indeed. It has a normal mode and a low noise readout mode. I do believe I've got this in the low noise mode. I'm not 100% on that though, but it does have multiple modes, just for clarity's sake. Astro Noddy, you're off to your pit. Mate, busy few days at work coming up. Keep up the great work. Thank you, mate. Catch the rest of this weekend. Well, I hope you have a fantastic few days at work, mate, and a good sleep. Thanks for joining in. Ultima, I know you are, buddy. Thanks for joining in, buddy. I hope you're keeping well. Central Valley Astro, what scope are you using? So tonight I've got the Celestron RASA 11. It's an f2.2 Rowe Ackerman Schmidt astrograph. Purely for astronomy, astrophotography purposes. No problem at all there, Michael. Hope you get the results you're looking for with that one, mate. Richard Carande. Okay, a RASA, that's why it's backwards, yeah. It is, mate, it's flipped. Let us know if the supernova is saturated on the 120-second exposures. We've currently got one, and let's take a little look. It is not saturated. We're seeing mean values of about 25k when mousing over the core of it, so still got some room to maneuver there. Do you think it's the brightest thing in the galaxy right now? Good question. I'll zoom out so we can see the whole galaxy. The answer is yes. It's definitely the brightest thing in the galaxy. The core of that supernova, as we said, was about 25,000 count ADUs. And the core of the galaxy itself is not too far behind, about 24.6. It's just, I guess, that Supernova's occupying a larger space. What F ratio is your raster? It's F 2.2, Mike. Currently imaging 5-minute subs with your Esprit 120. Beautiful scope, those Esprits. Beautiful scope. And you live in a bottle 4 to 5. That's awesome. You're going to get a fantastic image from that. Good luck for tonight. I hope your skies hold clear for you. You messaged me on Discord not too long ago, actually. Oh, mate, I'll have to catch that. I'm sorry if I miss messages. You've always got my number, though, mate. The Z3 RO Cool. Sadly, got to sell all your gear as you started a new photography business. Oh, mate. That's awful. Gran Turismo 81, a 1600 mm, and a Skywatcher NEQ6. What a lovely setup as well. Just do not get them out enough to have them hanging around. I can appreciate that too, though, mate. Yeah, that's a bad situation. But on the upside, it's better that someone else uses them and enjoys them, I guess. And you've got some more cash in your pocket too. Alan asks, what do you think of your Quattro 8? I was thinking of selling your RC8 to fund one. If you're coming from a Richie cretin, like it sounds as you are, I think you'd probably have no problem collimating the Quattro and getting it really singing in tune, shall we say. So I'd probably go for it if I were you. I've owned a few Richie cretins in the past. And they've got fabulous optics, but they're an absolute nightmare to keep fettled, is what I found, at least, anyway. I don't know how it is on the newer, larger models with the separated focuser adjustment bolts from the mirror cell, but on the smaller models, the 6 and the 8, I found them to be hard work at times. Great when they were working, though. Alboroto. Hi, Luke. Greetings from Chile. Wow! You lucky man. Such beautiful skies there. Just wanted to check in and thank you for all of the info you share with us. Cheers. It's absolutely my pleasure. Thank you very much indeed for joining in, mate. X-Chaser, it does look brighter than it did yesterday. 100% agree, mate. Yeah, it seems to be brightening pretty rapidly, really. Jenny X May, as a newbie, forgive the question. Do you expect the Supernova to get brighter? I do, yeah. I think it's probably going to get brighter for the next few days at least, I would imagine. And then probably we'll start to see it reach a max brightness and then begin to peter out a little bit over the course of the coming 6 weeks, something like that. Just at a guess. I mean, nobody really truly knows with this, I guess. Alex, might just break out the 300mm kit lens and give this Supernova a go. Absolutely, yeah, do that, mate. How it compares to a Rasa. You can enjoy that lens bird watching and stuff. My Rasa has to live here, man. It's swings and roundabouts. Cello Brew. I'm not familiar with Nina. Is it doing live stacking? It's currently not. So what we're viewing each time that bar at the bottom left finishes, so that's counting up the length it's currently through exposing to the night sky, you'll see a new 2-minute exposure appear on the screen. So we're viewing this effectively as live as we possibly can with a 20 million year lag due to the distance between us right here in the Milky Way and the distance to the M101 galaxy. But this is effectively live viewing, and just in a little bit of a while, once we've got enough exposures to make it worth doing, we can actually start live stacking, and we'll take a look at a more detailed view of M101 that's coming up shortly. Hope that answers your question for you there, Cello. Siegfried, Rasa 11. Wow, great scope, Luke. Thank you. Shooting M101 now, you've reduced Edge 8. That's a lovely scope too. I owned one of those for a while. And your ASI 2600 MC. Good luck to you, mate. Simon Lawrence. Out tonight collecting data on M101. I think half the world is doing that at this point. Good on you. North London. Wow. Esprit 120 getting bigger. Fantastic, mate. Yeah, a lot of people using those Esprits, and with good reason. They are magnificent. Rick Laird asks, who is attributed with finding the supernova? It was a Japanese chap, I do believe, and I am sorry to say, I've forgotten his name. I will get it up for you in a second. Koichi Itagaki is the one who discovered it. I will just pop a link in chat for anybody interested, if linking works on here. Yeah, discovered it just very, very recently. So we're seeing it in its absolute earliest stages, which is really cool to see. Hope that answers that one for you, Rick. This one, set up during the last live stream to try and get it, but then the haze from the fire came in. Oh, and you couldn't get it. Then last night is cloudy. This is torture. That is torture, and I'm so sorry about that, mate. I hope it clears for you soon. Yeah, Johnny Bravo's just answered as well there, Koichi. What a guy. Lucky man finding something like that. Well, lucky and very dedicated, I imagine. Manuel. I was checking my M101 data and the supernova was starting to be visible, but not as bright as now, but was still there. Really interesting. If you caught it around the very birth of this particular supernova, then your data might have some scientific value. Perhaps you could look at submitting it. That could be interesting, Manuel. Gary, just picked it up on your dwarf. Fantastic. The dwarf too. Only managed about 15 minutes before it got cloudy. Well, 15 minutes is better than nothing, mate, I guess. Looking on the bright side. That's really cool, though, the dwarf managed to pick it up. That's superb. So, I think, what do we have now? 4 completed exposures, just about to be 5. We can switch over to some live stacking very shortly, I think. Currently imaging M51 and hoping to add the data to Sunday night's run, sorry. Planning M101 later this week. Fantastic, Stephen. Good luck with that one, mate. Absolutely love M51. Yeah, I'll just prepare my live stacking folder for us. Should only take a minute or two. Rick Laird asks, what do you use for live stacking? For me, I'm just going to be using folder monitor mode in SharpGap. I'll be doing that on my actual main PC right here. So we should have a nice clear view, not compressed at all from the actual streamed view that we're seeing now out in the observatory using my Astro PC. So I'll just pull the frames over the network and we'll stack them on the fly. Should only take a few moments to get set up. Hello, fellow humans. Hello, fellow human. Filming your news show. It's always cloudy in Birmingham. No shortage of content, I imagine, mate. All right. Nearly done. $10.50. That one's too early. Right, we're nearly ready. Andy Hook. Evening, Luke. Evening to you too, Andy. Watching you as I could not get into my own telescope. Oh. William Optics, Zenith Star 73 and an ASI 533 as you're working away tonight. Well, I hope this fills the gap for you a little bit there, Andy. Barry, hi Luke. Just starting to capture M101 on your 50 ED and 533 MC Pro. Really great work on those 50 ED images, by the way, Barry. They've been fantastic. Jenny X. For me, this is the best of YouTube and internet. Nice. I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it, buddy. Live sharing of images, info, and intelligence. And thank you, Luke, for your channel. Mate, the pleasure is all mine. That's a really kind comment. Thank you. Greetings from Tampa, Florida. Beautiful. Greetings to you too, Leo. Hope you're having a fantastic day, mate. Siegfried. Would be an interesting video, Luke, on how to live stack from a folder. I'll show you it live. Why not? So I'm just going to minimize this view for a moment. So we will get back to this. It'll only be off the screen for a few seconds. But basically, we want to fire up SharpCap. Let this thing load. And where it says cameras, we're instead going to select folder monitor camera. We can point that using the source folder browser right there. If I just click the browse button, hopefully it will pop up. Seems to be having a little bit of slowdown happening, unfortunately. That's how things go when it's live, I guess. This is pointing to my old folder, basically, so I don't want this. This is from the first night of capture. So as you can see, I'm going to select the one on the 23rd, go into my lights folder, and that will do. Oops. All fits files, so I just selected one and hit all. I actually tried to Control A and select all of those then. But now if I hit live stack, it will pretend that these frames are coming from a camera source and should stack them up for us very nicely indeed. So we will hit play now, and it should start to stack them up, and we'll get a much better view coming across. So as you can see, the first thing I did was color balance, just by hitting the auto color balance tool. And now I'm going to drag the sliders just across a little bit to try and make this a little bit more visible for you. So there you have it. You can start to see perhaps a little bit of color and stuff appearing in M101 now. There's the Supernova for anybody who's joined and doesn't know where it is, right underneath my mouse pointer. So we're currently looking at effectively, what is this, 5 frames, so a 10-minute old image. And we can keep an eye, if you would like, also on the absolutely live images, as I've said, with a 20 million year lag. But it's the best we can do. And there you have it. What do we have? Hope that helped, by the way, Siegfried, if you caught that. Any experience with the Explore Scientific ED127? I do, yes. I have some experience with the FCD 001 version of that telescope, and it was pretty darn good, but very long, extremely long. So if you're using a tripod mounted setup, you need to be careful about the possibility of collisions effectively with those tripod legs. Two Rivers Observatory. Hello, Luco from Sydney, Nova Scotia, Canada. Hello to you too, mate. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Olaf's Astro. Hello there, Olaf. Hope you're well, bud. Oh, you just said, hi, you're capturing now the M101 because of the supernova. And I wonder how you edit the image. Keep going and have fun. Greetings from Hungary. Thank you. How I'll edit the image, it'll basically just be a case of stacking it up in astrophotography tool for me. At that point, I'll use its light pollution correction tool before I export it off to further process in PixInsight. And that will basically be my method of doing it. Mitch says there's a meteor on the left. Yes, there is indeed. I guess we could see it just rotate towards us and start catching some light. Wombat Zone. Morning from Oz, mate. Morning to you too, mate. Looks good. Apart from the plane trail, satellite trail on the left. Yeah. We've been photobombed already. Great info. Well explained. Superb. I'm glad that helped you, Siegfried. It's a good idea for a video, perhaps, though, mate. Yeah, I may have to do something like that. Perhaps with a little bit more polish than that little presentation just then. Alexander, 10 minutes of exposing and already so many details. Great. Yeah, it's a major advantage is having such a fast telescope, I guess. I'm extremely lucky to own it. If we can just push this black point up a little bit. don't want to go too far. The sky conditions seem to still be rapidly changing. I'm noticing with each individual exposure that's being stacked, it's changing the view on the live stack pretty dramatically. So we should perhaps be able to get a better view yet of this as the night progresses. Titch says, Dumpy Dalek that is, but I've got some cloud moving over. Oh no. More viewers this time? Yeah, there is. There is actually one back, yeah. Hello to everybody, by the way, who's joined and watching. I am so happy to be sharing my evening with you. I hope it's entertaining. Westlake. Hi Luke, so cool. Ontario, Canada. Mate, hello there to you too. I've seen your name on my channel for years, so thank you for all the support in that time, my friend. Really appreciate it. Jenny X, incredible that our weather window has been so good. Yeah, that's lucky. Smoke and haze for you in southern Ontario from the fire out west. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Are you is it just a bit of haze, or are you still able to, you know, actually keep imaging? Do you have more than one telescope imaging this? Jenny X asks. I actually don't. I've just got my main telescope, the Raster 11, pointed at this target and doing my best to make a capture. The other telescope in the observatory on the second pier is capturing a target that's been chosen by my partner. So while she's away at work, I'm just gathering some data on that for her. What is your pixel scale for your setup? Frank M81M82 asks. Very good question, Frank. And off the top of my head, I don't know. I'd be lying if I said I did. So I'm going to find out for you right now using Astronomy Field of View Calculator. I may as well just quickly show you how to do this if you have any interest. So we're imaging M101. I'll just use this to select it. The focal length of my telescope is 620. You don't really need to import the aperture. The camera is a Player 1. Hopefully it's been added. It hasn't yet, so I'll have to add a ASI 2600. Should only take a second. 2600. So my resolution, my pixel scale is 1.25 arc seconds per pixel. And that's the actual full field of view. If you can see, and if I zoom out just a second, you can see it's pretty darn accurate. Those reflections and things that are happening are awful to see, but it is what it is. Hope that answers that for you, Frank. Linux Astro, howdy to you too, mate. Hope you're having a great day. Simon's Astro, just checked outside and it's now clear. Go, 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 go. Good luck, mate. Just as you're about to hit the hay. Oh no, got to say night all. Thanks so much for joining, Simon. Really, really appreciate your support, buddy. Linux Astro, clouds for the last month from northwestern Georgia. Wow. On the upside, it can't possibly stay cloudy much longer than that, surely. Mike Cole, probably a crazy question. There are no crazy questions. There are no crazy questions, if I could speak. But does anyone know how large the supernova explosion is currently in comparison to our solar system? That is a neat question, and I imagine probably bigger, just off the top of my head as a guess. But I don't know for sure, so that might be misinformation. Don't take it as gospel. Yeah, see you, Simon, if you're still here, bud. Jenny X, I hope you realise that you can use this as a real-time teaching tool for us newbies. I feel like I'm real-time learning too, mate, so there's a bit of an exchange going on. Yeah, that's a nice perspective, actually. I thought last night about maybe at some point offering out some data, make it publicly available, and we could do a live-streamed process-along kind of thing, if you like, where you could load the same data that I'm going to work on in tandem on your systems and would all work on processing it together and take you through it. But the only problem I kind of foresaw with that would be vast differences in people's processing speeds on their system if we were using PixInsight, for example. Titch says, hey Luke, did you try covering the LED lights on the camera, or did you already think of that? I did, mate. It's just one backwards facing LED, so it's only firing light out into space anyway. The player ones seem pretty well light sealed. It's just coming from somewhere else. I imagine it could be the faceplate of the Barda adapter that I'm using that's reflecting back on the lens group within the Raster 11. I made a mess of explaining that, but I hope it came through all the same. First time joining your live session. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. From your hotel room. Luke, can you point out the Supernova again? Absolutely no problem at all. It's right there, if you can see that, Paul. So underneath my mouse pointer, that little feature there that just looks like a star, a bright star in the field of view, that's actually the Supernova, and it wasn't there as of the 18th of this month. Andy, Simon's not got the stamina to stay up like you, mate. I guess the difference is Simon will wake up at a reasonable time tomorrow, but I'll be gone, mate, until noon at least, at the very least. Super. Glad that were helpful, Paul. Mitch says, the Canadian Alberta fires are ruining the image in the last 15 days. I'm sorry about that, mate. Is there any kind of information out there as to how long that's expected to keep going on for? Because I know it's been affecting nearly everybody I speak to at this point in time. Must be a huge wildfire. Stephen Grunfeld. Anyone have any info on the ASCAR? Which ASCAR is that? Sorry, mate. Peter L. What's up with the RGB fixed noise pixels? I had the same problem since Nina 2.2, had to downgrade to 2.1 to get rid of it. So I'm just stacking lights here, mate, so there's no calibration frames, which would usually get rid of that kind of thing. And also because I'm live stacking in sharp gap, the first few frames always end up showing off those hot pixels that inevitably act as part of the fingerprint of your sensor. So when I stack this for real, using a, let's say, Astro Pixel processor, which is like what I'll use, all of those will disappear, even though I'm not going to use any darks, simply due to the fact that I'm differing my exposures frequently. I hope that explains that for you, Peter. Oh, the ASCAR 0.7 reducer. Sorry about that, Stephen. If you mean the one for the ASCAR 130p HQ, ASCAR contacted me and asked for a little bit more information, which I happily provided everything that I could to them, and that was the last I heard about it. So I don't know if they're redesigning or altering it or anything like that, or if that's just the expected performance, and I was, I don't know, maybe expecting too much, but I don't feel like I was, given the price point of that telescope. We should be expecting perfection. Up for work at 6:30, Simon. Ooh, that's rough, mate. Just clearing for you, Andy. Superb. Glad to hear it, mate. Two Rivers Observatory. Thanks for joining. Hey, Luco. Do you know about the ZWO filter drawer and which way it goes into the holder? Does it make a difference which way it goes in? It shouldn't be omnidirectionally. It should only go in one way. I think it should, if I'm thinking correctly, have an indexing little slot. So I don't know if you have it to hand there, and you could perhaps test that out. But yeah, that's what I'd be expecting to see. So I'm noticing quite a lot of darkening going off to one side of this image. Interesting to see. Maybe I'm going to rerun this live stack in a second and get rid of the first few exposures if they are notably brighter. Let's just take a quick look. So the earlier 120-second exposures, if you guys can see, had a mean background values of about 19,500, and we're now in the 18,500 range, just hidden by my webcam, I realise. So it could be worth getting rid of those first 5 frames or so and starting that live stack again. We might end up with a more pleasant view, I guess. But for anybody interested, this is a live view right now, effectively just 20 million years plus 2 minutes of lag. And there's a supernova right underneath my mouse pointer. So yeah, I think I'll actually do that. I'll fire up my folder once again, hide away these first few, and we'll restack the whole thing once again. Bad subs. So it was around about the first 5 or 6 that was bad, I think. That looks pretty good. Only Dithering would get rid of that pattern. In my case, it didn't work at all. Yeah, Dithering gets rid of it completely for me, mate. Missed a couple of comments there, actually. Why AstroPixel process for stacking and not Pixel Sight? Andy asks. Simply, I found it gives a slightly smoother end result in my experience. It also doesn't absolutely fill your hard drive with interim files, which is nice. I know you can go ahead and just delete those after you're done, when you've finished using weighted batch preprocessing, but still, it just seems a little bit archaic, the stacking. I don't know, I could be completely wrong, but it just seems that way to me. APP works superbly well with very little effort. I do have a tutorial upcoming, already recorded and ready for release, I guess, whenever I can get around to editing it, for stacking in APP as well, for anybody interested in exploring that. So maybe that'll be of use to some out there. Rick Laird, have you found AstroPixel Processor to be a better stacker than PixInsight? Yeah, really I should have read that first before answering Andy's question. Yeah, effectively I have found it to be that little bit better. James Duggan, thanks for joining in, James. I think Canada is like Australia, that they have fires every summer and every year. Chuck or someone says smoke is a problem. Yeah, interesting observation. I think you're probably right about that, mate. So if we cancel this live stack, we'll just clear the whole thing. Rewind back to the start. I'll repoint it to the folder once again, once it decides it's going to load. Seems to be giving me a not responding message, as it would, and hopefully this time we'll get a bit of a better view. There we go, all fits files. So I'll hit play, process frames on that, and hopefully it won't pick up those bad ones. No, I guess it maybe is. We'll run with it. It is what it is. If I just readjust this histogram view for you guys, that does look a bit more appealing to me, at least. Hopefully so for you guys too. Yeah, as Andrew said there as well, it does seem to only go one way for the filter draw systems. Paul Patterson, I've used APP for 3 or 4 years for stacking and love it. I get as good or better stacking. Yeah, and love it for mosaics. Basically the same as I've found. Yeah, it's good to hear that, actually, Paul. I know I'm not alone with it. Hogarth, astrophotography. I prefer weighted batch preprocessing, but it's a Coke versus Pepsi argument for me. That's an interesting take on it, yeah. I guess there could be some kind of bias, because I'm so kind of fed up with WBPP and its interface, and its, you know, the fact it creates a bunch of bloody effectively useless to me files afterwards and half fills my hard drive. Maybe I do feel automatically more positive towards APP. Mitch, the sun is bright orange each morning and at sundown, but you're all set up for M101. Good to hear that, mate. I'm all set up for a good sleep about 5 hours from now. Andrew says, also I find APP quicker to use. That is true, yeah. It definitely stacks quicker. Even when you're using some of the optional extra features that APP offers, which really slows it down, but it still ends up seeming to be faster than WPPP. Dumpy Dalek, my PC would have a meltdown running PixInsight. Yeah, it's pretty resource heavy, mate, I have to say. Jenny X says, all teaching is very much appreciated. Well, you watching, mate, is very much appreciated. I can't do this without you guys, so thank you. Linux Astro, Cyril fan for stacking. Yeah, PixInsight is too slow. That's a fair argument. Yeah, Cyril is very quick at stacking. Only used it a few times, found it does give good results though. For anybody who's joining and doesn't know where we're looking, by the way, this right here, underneath my mouse pointer, that is the Supernova in M101. This is a view that's effectively about 14 minutes old. And over on my main screen right here, we've got a view that's just 2 minutes old. In all cases, add 20 million years onto that for the time lag between that target and us. That's how long it's taken the light to reach us. Njubi, good afternoon from cloudy California. Good afternoon to you too, buddy. You was able to get an hour in last night before the rain with your EQ6, Celestron 5 SE and your f6.3 reducer. ASI 224MC, lovely little camera that. 15-second subs, ball 6 to 7. Any advice for an uncooled DSO newbie? Thank you. Ooh, just dither frequently, I would say, mate. If your camera needs darks, which I think the 224 does, then take darks per session as well. So once you're finished, or maybe if you get the chance in the middle of the night due to passing clouds or something like that, that's the perfect opportunity to put the lens cap on and gather a few temperature matched darks. So that would be my advice. I hope that helps, mate. Hogarth's Astrophotography Astropixel Processor's UI is one of the most unusual user interfaces you've ever seen. I think that's probably putting it kindly, yeah, I would agree. You've ever seen in your 30 years as a software developer. It's very strange, but I guess once you get used to it, well, like anything, once you get used to it, it's fine, but it does start to make some sense. Yeah, not much difference between them. A lot of it is personal preference. I think that's a very fair comment, yeah. That's you being polite. Yeah, I thought so. Your picture-in-picture is covering the histogram tweaks in sharp gap. Can you adjust sharp gap and do it again? Trying to figure out how I can adjust my picture-in-picture for you guys a little bit. I could maybe drag this window over to the left for you just temporarily a second, Rick. So if you're seeing this, Rick, this is for you real quick, buddy. So I'll reset both of these. So this is what it looks like to start with. Hopefully you can see now. I'm first of all just going to auto color balance. I'm not going to use the automated histogram stretch as I find it to be a little bit aggressive. Instead, I'm going to slide up the black level slider. I do have horizontal axis zoom ticked, by the way, so I could actually untick that right now and make this a little bit more obvious for you. So I'm going to slide that up to the main spike in the histogram, and then I'm going to slide the mid-level spike over towards the left. As you can see, that's bringing out the galaxy a little bit more now, and now I can use that horizontal axis zoom again and get slightly more granular control over those black levels and midtones. And I think we're roughly back to where we were now. I hope that explained that for you there, Rick. Once again, for anybody just joining, the Supernova is right underneath my mouse pointer. Caminada, having a limited amount. Should I upgrade to monochrome by getting some of the filters or go color with cooling like the ASI 2600? At the moment, you have a 585 and a Sony Alpha 6000 with an ASCAR 300. Ooh, good question. If you have the clear skies to support monochrome, or the patience to deal with perhaps sometimes having projects be interrupted halfway through and then, you know, needing to recommit to them in a week's time or so, then monochrome is always a good option because the image quality ceiling is indeed higher than with one-shot color. But that said, I do think the gap between mono and one-shot color is closer than it's ever been before, and you can certainly take world-class images now with a one-shot color image sensor. Hope that helps you there, Caminada. Stephen Grunfeld. Luco, do you have any suggestions for a reducer for the ASCAR 107P HQ? Thank you. I think the matched reducer is probably your only option, really. Given that that's a Petzval quadruplet scope, it's already got a flat field, so really your reducer needs to have that in mind. The fact that it's not needing to correct field curvature and reduce the image at the same time like most standard reducers sold on the market do. So probably just the matched one from ASCAR would be my choice. Andreas, good morning from Cyprus. Good morning to you too, my friend. Thank you for joining in. Just finished your session on M101. Keep up the good work, Luke. Thank you. I hope you got a nice image on M101 there, mate. Greencat asks, Luke, what scope are you on? I'm on a 150 PDS, 8 2-minute subs, and your image in sharp cap looks much better than mine. It's just down to the speed. I'm using a Celestron Rasa 11, which is f2.2, 620mm of focal length, and 11 inches of aperture, or 279mm, I think. So yeah, it's mainly just down to masses of aperture, masses of speed. It's an advantage. Linux Astro, very nice for a live stack. Yeah, I think it was worth doing that restack and emitting those first few frames because the sky really was getting darker very quickly there. Dave, good to see you, Dave. Hope you're having a good day, mate. Astro Boot, up at 5, need to go. Thank you very much for joining in, mate. I really appreciate you spending some of your evening with me. It's nice of you. Rick, I'm glad that showed up for you there, mate. Sorry I'm a little bit behind on chat here, guys. Dumpy Dalek, night, mate. Yep, night. Siegfried, just went outside and switched our L Pro with the UV IR. Not much of a difference, but maybe a bit more colour. Yeah, I kind of found just about the same thing with my IDAS LPS D2, which is probably very similar to your L Pro. I noticed that on this target, on the particular night that I tested, just UV and IR cutting was the way to go. Major lag leaked. Hi from outside Birmingham, Ball 7. Oh, my friend. I got your Star Adventurer and DSLR out on Friday and Saturday, and shot M101 with no idea about the Supernova. So you have 2 grainy pics of the star of it. That's awesome. Nice job, mate. Really cool. Leo Silbaran, have you ever experienced any fan vibration issues with your cameras? Yes, in the past, on a QHY camera. I'm not singling out QHY, by the way. It was actually completely my fault. Some pet hair had landed on the camera and was knocking it off balance. So once I cleaned it up, it was all solved. So yeah, other than that, just one issue from literally foreign debris causing vibration. I haven't had any other issues since. Dumpy Dalek, 2 Rasa 11s on this target that I know of. Yes, me and you, mate, hitting it up. Dave says, nice view, still a little smoky. Skies here near Chicago. Sorry about that, mate. Gonna try and capture M101 again tonight and tweak some settings. Good luck to you. Yeah. Hopefully it clears up a little bit for you, mate, and you have a good session. David Guntrip. Hi, Luke from Sussex. Hello there, mate. Hope you're doing well. Stacked your M101 images from last night. Watched your excellent video on BlurXTerminator. Thank you. Cheers. Keep up the good work using the 2600 MC on a Stellar Mirror 90. You wish you could have it set up permanently. Yeah, I mean, having a permanent setup is a major boon. I don't see myself going back to setting up big rigs outside anymore, but admittedly I do still miss sometimes that, I don't know, almost procedure of setting up. It felt a little bit like a ritual of sorts. Rudy, good to see you, mate. Hi there, any idea how much longer the supernova will be visible? Skies have been terrible here in California. Yeah, a few folks from California have said the same thing, Rudy. The good news is you've probably got a nice wide window to actually get a shot of this thing. Earlier is probably going to be the most fun time to catch it while it's still on the upswing of brightness. But from what I read on an article earlier, it should last a fair while, perhaps in the order of up to 2 months or so. Ouch, that hurt. I can just about see major constellations. I have street lights right outside and it's like daylight at midnight. Oh, that's rough, mate. Yeah, we're surrounded here as well. Bottle 7 skies, and lots of that is made up of local light pollution too. Not great, but still, hopefully, I mean, this looks decent enough with very little integration. This is just 20 minutes that we're looking at on the screen right now, so it is still doable. Don't lose hope. We'll just take a quick look at the live view for anybody interested for a minute or two. So it looks like my guiding's going off nice and smooth tonight. And there is the M101 Supernova for anybody interested right underneath my mouse pointer right now. As live as it can be seen. So just 2 minutes old at that point. Pretty nifty. For anybody watching carefully, you'll probably will have just noticed that M101 appeared to just move as the 2 different subframes came in there, and that's just due to something that we do, for anybody unfamiliar, called dithering, where you allow the image to move around on your camera's sensor a little bit. Pop back over to SharpCap's view, I guess, now. So here's the live stack once again. James Duggan, good advice, yeah, buy an air rifle. Strictly for target practice, of course. Rick Laird, the ritual of the nightly build of a new rig each session is good, but the ritual of flicking a few switches and kicking off imaging must feel bloody good. I can confirm, it does feel pretty bloody good, mate, yeah. I won't even try and pretend otherwise. Dumpy Dalek asks, how long are your sub-exposures, Luke? 2 minutes each, mate. That's what I'm doing tonight. 2 minutes each. Any longer at this kind of gain, and we start to get really strange green on the exposures that pervades through the whole thing and makes it pretty much unusable. If I was using a light pollution filter, I could potentially go a bit longer, but I found that this gave the most pleasing view. From Broad to here. Ouch, that hurt. Well, that light is approximately 21 million years old plus 2 minutes, yeah. But do you carry a 20 kilogram sack of spuds from the house to the obsy, just as a reminder? I do, yeah, I have to stay fit somehow, so that's my my chosen method of training. Yeah. Guiding looks great. Which mount? It is the Skywatcher EQ8 Pro, so it's the older ones before they switched to the EQ8R and EQ8RH. Very devious there, Alan. A slingshot and ice cubes. That's some James Bond level stuff. Robert, imagine the excitement when a supernova gets detected in our galaxy. Yes, indeed. Going to be incredible to be able to image something like that when we get the chance. Yeah, that is a neat idea, Alan. I think we've definitely found someone who works for the government's shadow operations there. That's some shady stuff. I am just joking, Alan. Don't shoot me with an ice cube. Time for a refill. Streaming and talking is thirsty work. My daughter has a 3D pen, and I told her I want to see a plastic handgun and molly soon. Oh my god. It's pretty amazing what you can make these days with 3D printers. Fantastic stuff. I've just been prototyping some Losmandy cable management clips, effectively. These are some of the older prototypes, but effectively you clip this down, screw it up on your Losmandy dovetail, put your cables in the comb and clip it down. Alan asks, how many scopes do you currently own? 3. Yeah, 3. And one that's completely out of commission. It's no use to anybody. The mirrors have lost all the silver in. But I've just kept it for a memento. Yeah, so it's just the Redcat 51, the Rasa 11, and the Quattro 8. That's what we own, Alan. So how many of you guys in chat watching this right now are out imaging M101? Oh, you're going, Jason. Later, mate. I hope you have a fantastic day. You might stay up and make an attempt at M101. Go for it, man. Yes, I'd love to see that. See if we can adjust this view ever so slightly. Looks a little bit clipped. That looks attractive enough, I would say. See it here, ragdoll. 3 hours to start in. The countdown begins. Good luck. Good luck for tonight. Two Rivers Observatory, just heading to your observatory. Fantastic, mate. David O'Flanagan. Good evening from Lincoln. Popped in for a while, and you're running your Altair Astro 60 EDF. Nice, mate. I hope you're having a lovely session. Altair makes some really nice scopes. William House. You hope to catch it later if the Canadian wildfire smoke clears. Well, good luck. Really good luck to you, mate. I hope you get the chance. Alan, as clear as a bell. And no laptop. Oh. There's always something, mate. Green Cat, your scope's out imaging. You're remoting in from the living room and watching me on TV. Well, hello, and thank you for that. That's awesome. We're living in the future. Linux Astro. By random chance, I was working on M101 a month ago before the clouds took up residence. Does that count? Yes. I think you're here in spirit with us, mate, and that is what counts. Everyone waiting for Beetlejuice to go supernova, but it's just being strange right now. I think that's pretty accurate to say. Yeah, it is just being strange. I'd love to see it happen in my lifetime, but I don't know. I just doubt that it will, I think. Our lifespans are just a cosmic blink on the grand scheme of things, I guess. I expect Beetlejuice has got some way to go yet before it gets crazy enough to finally collapse and go supernova. Just my guess, anyway. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody's messages here. Mike Cole, gonna leave your rig out doing its thing and head off to bed. I hope you have a lovely evening, Mike. Thanks for jumping in. Lucky to have a few clear nights over the past week, but the downside is a lack of sleep. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mike. Hope you have a good night, mate. Frudix, I'm new here and new to astrophotography. Well, very welcome indeed. Nice choice of pastime. You're not imaging tonight due to bad weather, but you did manage to capture 3 hours worth of data on M101 on Sunday using a Quattro 8. Beautiful. Really happy for you there, mate. Lovely scope as well. Nice choice. James, you're imaging M101 with your Rokin on 135 and Uranus C. Superb, and thank you for that, by the way. That's really kind of you to say. Maginty. It's been terrible weather all year. Yes, mate, it has for me as well. We've just got extremely lucky the past few nights. And you can't go out tonight because you've got work tomorrow. Oh, going out tomorrow night, though, so that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. At least you're going to definitely get the chance to shoot this thing if you want to. John Day. My son did my image of M51 on a 3D printer and made a night lamp for me. That's superb. Yeah, lithophanes, I think they're called. Really neat things. Turned out awesome. Not much to see when unlit, but when lit, it pops. Yeah, all grayscale with a semi-textured clear filament. I read that wrong. Textured semi-clear filament. As long as it is short, eh? Just couldn't turn you off, Luke, but really am now, mate. That's awesome. Hope you have a fantastic day at work tomorrow, mate. Cheers for tuning in, as always. Carl, great stream, Luke. Got to step away for a sec, but I'll leave you playing in the background. Mate, thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate the support, man. Gotta love the live streams, no editing. Yes. I am extremely minimalist when it comes to editing on my videos. There's no fancy edits and camera shots, really. Just oftentimes it's a one-take wonder. What you see is what you get. Dumpy Dalek. Well, you've just been out to rotate the dome and walked into the counterweight. No! Oh, dear. I hope that you had the protective ball on the end of it, mate. I'm still laughing about when you sent that video to me. Peter L. You're imaging with the 12... excuse me. 1200/200 newt. And an SV405cc watching Nina on one screen and you on the second screen. Oh, mate, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. What a nice setup you'll have there. That's some serious resolution. David O'Flanagan. I hope I'm getting your name correct, by the way. You're currently running a 183 MC Pro and you're looking at the 533. Is it a worthwhile upgrade? If you like the square image format, and I happen to, yeah, I don't think it's bad at all, but some people are put off by it. If you like the image format, then absolutely yes. I think it's a very, very nice camera, the 533. That's not to say the 183 is a bad camera, by the way. I just want to add that in there for clarity's sake. If you're happy with what you've currently got, then keep your money in your wallet, I would say. Stefan, hello from Sweden. Hello to you too, mate. I hope you're having a lovely evening. 11 at 60 seconds so far, and you can see it. Superb. That's really nice to hear, Stefan. I'm afraid that looks like Cyrillic, and I can't read it. I'm sorry about that. Thank you for your support, though. All the same, if you can understand me. For anybody who's just joined and is looking to see where the supernova is, by the way, it's right underneath my mouse pointer, just there. And what we're looking at is effectively just 26 minutes plus 20 to 21 million light years on top of the light's travel time before it finished its journey on my camera sensor and then ultimately on our screens here. Corinne, good night to you too, mate. Yeah, I hope you have a lovely sleep and a good day tomorrow. 4 AM comes up quickly. It does. Wow. That's not much sleep. Green Cat asks, do you ever alter the Sigma settings in the stacking menu in SharpCap Honestly, I don't mess much with it, no. I only ever use it for just monitoring a stack like this, because I know that whatever pops up on screen here, ultimately, to me, is going to be irrelevant, because I'm going to stack again later properly, if you will. Not that this is improper, but I'm sure you know what I mean. Using a dedicated program, such as Astro Pixel Processor. So to me, it's more just a method of monitoring. Hope that answers that for you, Green Cat. Frank M81, M82. The weather forecast doesn't look good for tonight, from Alan in Texas. Thanks for doing this. It's my pleasure, Frank. Honestly, it is, mate. And I hope that it's engaging for you to watch. I really like spending my evening with you guys. This is nice. Andrew Bennett, main advantage of the 533 is 0 amp glow. Yes, that is a huge advantage. I love 0 amp glow cameras. And the fact in some cases you can get away with no darks. Yeah, I've owned a 533, I've owned a 2600 MC Pro, now the Poseidon. All 0 amp glow cameras. The 585 as well, actually. Never used darks on any of them. I have tested using darks, but as long as you regularly dither, honestly, I've found you just don't need them. That's my take on it anyway. Ouch, that hurt. Oh, sorry, I'll just readjust this colour balance for you a little bit. James Webb and Hubble will hopefully be getting a close-up of this supernova, and we'll be able to view the effects over a number of years. That would be extremely cool, yeah. I imagine they've got enough like effective focal length that they're going to be able to see whatever remnants are left behind as a result of this supernova. That's going to be incredible to see. They may be able to note a new feature added in the nebulous nature of M101 right there. Looking forward to seeing that. Tariq, hello there, mate. Thank you for joining in. Dumpy Dalek says, glad it made you laugh, but sadly you took it off the other day. No, that's a safety measure to rebalance everything. Getting some great guiding now, apart from when you headbutt the counterweights. Yes, you need to keep that to a minimum. We've all done it though, mate, let's be honest. Greg McKay, thanks for joining in, Greg. You headed out tonight to a dark site. Oh, that's awesome. Looks like clear skies, but maybe too windy for the big scope on M101. You'll be shooting the blue horse head with your little scope if the wind doesn't cooperate. Well, that's a fantastic backup plan. So I wish you the absolute best of luck with that one, Greg. Whatever happens, you're going to be a nice image by the sounds of it. Good to know that, Green Cat. Yeah. David says, don't mind the square sensor. It's mainly the no amp glow. Yeah, it's such a nice feature. If kind of using darks, accurately matched darks, should I say, is something that you don't enjoy doing, which I never did. And I know it doesn't bother some people, but me personally, I never enjoyed doing that. Then that is a major selling point for those cameras. Will the 533 give a cleaner image, or are they equal in that regards? And also, yes, you're pronouncing it correct. Superb. Glad to hear that, mate. It will give a cleaner image, most likely, yes. You'll have ever so slightly less effective resolution on your target, if you will, simply because there's less pixels. And each one of those pixels is going to be looking at a proportionately larger field of view of the night sky due to the fact that the 533's pixels are bigger than the 183's. But the upshot of that is, due to having larger photo sites, each one of them is going to reach an arbitrary number of SNR faster, because literally it's gathering light from a wider area of sky. So you'll notice your system gets ever so slightly faster, David, and that will result in smoother exposures overall. Tariq says, hi Luke, so is it live yet? Yes, this is live, mate. 30 minutes old on this view. If you want a look at the absolute livest view that I can offer you, though, if that's a word, the livest one, then here it is. This is just 2 minutes plus the travel time for the light from the galaxy of about 20 to 21 million years, and there's a supernova right there. This is the view on Nina of individual sub-exposures, just 2 minutes each. In this case, I hope that explains that to you, buddy. Andrew Bennett. Long exposures with the 183 were a pain for me, but the 183 is still a great camera. I would agree with that. Yeah, it is still a great camera. Yeah, just as I mentioned there about that. Thanks for the live view. You have to go. Awesome. Hey, my pleasure, Rick. It really is, mate. Thank you so much for spending some of your evening with me. I appreciate it. David O'Flanagan asks, any filters in use tonight? Good question. And the answer is just a UV IR cutting filter. Nothing fancy. And I'm imaging from Bottle 7 Skies too. We'll take a look now at the live stack once again, as I think that's perhaps the more pleasing view. There it is again for anybody who's just joined. The Supernova right underneath my mouse pointer. Greg McKay says, so you're capturing in Nina and then using the folder stack in SharpCap Pro. That's exactly correct, Greg. That's what I'm doing, mate. So I'm just pulling my image files over the network from my remote PC, which is out in the observatory, actually physically mounted to the top of the Raster 11, dragging those files through the network and stacking them up on my main PC right here to hopefully give you guys an uncompressed, as much as is possible when live streaming, view. Green Cat asks, how often are you dithering? Every 3 sub exposures. I will just double check that for you, as I don't want to give you any misinformation. So on my sequencer, yeah, dithering every 3 exposures, 2-minute exposures. So every 6 minutes we get a dither, 10 dithers per hour. Hopefully that shows for you. Juby, 4.5 hours to start. Scope is aligned and waiting under a tarp. That's a good feeling. I know that feeling, mate, and that is a good one. Astrospheric shows 1 to 2 hours of imaging time before 100% clouds. Ooh, good luck to you, mate. I really hope you get every single second of those 1 or 2 hours, mate. Caminada, Antlia 5nm, HA03 and hydrogen beta sulfur 2, or the Ascar Color Magic. Ooh. Honestly, I'm not qualified to answer that question for you with any authority. I have tried out the Antlia filters and I found them very good, so I can offer that. But you know, due to the fact that I've not actually tried out the Ascar Color Magic, I think I'm getting this the right way around. I can't really say for you. I'm sorry about that one. I just wouldn't want to say one thing and then give you the wrong advice. As I realise how expensive these things are, I feel the weight of responsibility on my shoulders. Need to set up SharpCap with Nina for live view. Yeah, if you haven't already done that, David, it is a lot of fun being able to see exactly what's going on. Sorry you have a lot of stuff. Hey, nothing at all to be sorry about, mate. I'm more than happy to try and answer everything I can for you. So fire away. Greg McKay, excellent idea. I've never done that before, and I do live stream occasionally. Nice. Yeah, it's good fun, mate. It works, you know, just as well as if I was imaging using this PC. So it's a nice spend of your time. I'm looking for words that I don't need to find. No need to over-egg the pudding, is there? Isaac P says, did you see Russell Croman's presentation on the Astro Imaging channel 2 weeks ago about BXT and deconvolution? I caught parts of it, Isaac. I didn't see the whole thing, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say. But yeah, I did catch parts of it. Just missed a message from Dave Huff there. Sorry about that, mate. David O'Flanagan, what are your sub-lengths and what f-stop? You're running about 3 minutes on an f4.5. So these are 2 minute sub-exposures at f2.2 on a Celestron Raster 11. Hope that answers that one for you, mate. Rick says, "Hi Luke, unexpected clear night tonight. That's the best type of clear night. Love them. Just come back from the pub and had to open up the observatory to capture some more data on M101. I couldn't resist. Yes, that's the way, mate. Nice to see someone else is doing the same target from the UK. Hey, I hope you get some good data tonight, mate. It's just about hitting full darkness for us, I guess, or as dark as it's going to get this time of the year." Greg McKay, we appreciate your honesty and not just pushing some filters. Yeah, I mean, that's it, mate. I'd much sooner give someone the best advice I can, and if that means giving no advice sometimes, then I have to do that. Yeah. Lee Polikoff, thanks for joining, Lee. Thanks for giving us beginners something to strive for. My pleasure, mate. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. Isaac P. Russell mentioned dithering and how it affects deconvolution in that presentation. Yeah, I imagine you're going to get a more robust spatial sampling of the target due to the fact that you're dithering it, enabling you to drizzle and end up with, I assume, sub-pixel accuracy on parts of the image that you otherwise wouldn't be able to sample due to how well dithering and drizzling works together. Greg McKay, I usually only do the live streams during events like eclipses and asteroid flybys. Yeah, I hear you, mate. That's a good time to do them. Transient events, that kind of thing. It seems to generate quite a lot of interest, it seems. We've got a bunch of people in chat. I'm really appreciative. Crimson Drums, good to see you, mate. You've got 40 minutes on this the other night and trying to get at least another 3 hours plus tomorrow night. Well, that's cool. At least you got some data on different nights. You could stack those up individually as well and take a look at how the supernova changed between those two sessions. That's neat. Hogarth's Astronomy, great stream, Luke. Thank you, mate. Got to go and get some sleep. Thanks for the live stream again, my friend. Thank you. Catch you during the week, Niall. Thank you, Nigel. Really, really appreciate you coming along tonight and giving your support as well earlier on. That's extremely kind of you, and I really do hope you know it's appreciated. Have a good night, mate. James Duggan, if you think divorce is hard on the wallet, don't try astrophotography. That is good advice. Jamie Rich, got a few weeks left of your GCSEs and then you can finally focus on astro. Good luck on your GCSEs, mate. What a time to be alive. Stressful, as I remember. But yeah. Don't lose focus now. I'm sure you won't. David O'Flanagan asks, how did your astro journey start? Very good question. And my earliest memory of becoming really interested in space. I've been interested right from being a small child. I'll preface by saying that. But really, one of my earliest memories of actually engaging in astronomy was seeing Jupiter for the first time. I didn't know it was Jupiter at the time. Hanging low over some nearby houses, and I thought, what is that bright star, is what I thought it was. So I'm also into air rifle shooting, so I grabbed a rifle scope I had laying around and took a look and thought, that's not a star. And noticed, it was Jupiter, and I could see the Galilean moons, and that lit the fire. So from there, the next thing I did was save up money and buy my first telescope that very same Christmas. I actually bought as well, I do remember it's a Skywatcher 250p Dobsonian. I bought it used on eBay and it arrived with a massive dent in the side as well. So there's that. Not all good luck. I hope that gives you some idea of how things started for me, David. David Huff, what do you use for a dither multiplier? I had to redo my chat message. I don't exactly know what you mean there, David, I'm afraid. Yeah, you've stumped me. Rick, you've got a Quattro 250p mounted, so it seemed like a good idea. If you mean dither scale, by the way, it's a scale of 1, I think, on PhD. Quattro 250p mounted, so it seemed like a good idea. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Beautiful scope. I bought a Quattro 250p recently. I don't know if you know. With the hopes of having it as a permanent feature in the observatory, but it was just honestly a painful fraction too long. If it had been an inch shorter, I reckon I could have got away with it, but it's just not the way the cookie crumbled. So I instead had to send that back and get the 200p in its place. Troll Shark. Any reason for using SharpCap instead of Nina for imaging, or is it just because you're sitting there watching it instead of automating it? So to explain what's going on, Troll Shark, so we're looking at files being pulled through my home network from my remote PC, which is imaging it live right now with Nina. As you can see, this is just a 2-minute exposure that's just came in. So all those files that are stacking up in Nina's subfolders, I'm dragging those through the network to my main PC here, where I'm live streaming on, allowing me to show you guys this building up over time. Hopefully give you a better image of how that supernova looks. Hope that explains that for you, mate. Richard Dowding, hi Luco. Hello there, mate. Thank you for joining in. Just arrived. Does anyone have any values on the supernova's magnitude since Friday? I imaged it on Saturday and last night, but I can't see the difference. Probably getting old and blind. So I imaged it a Saturday into Sunday night, and the image that resulted is here. So hopefully you can see that. This is just a crop of it, but this was 90 minutes of usable data, and that of course is the supernova right there, Richard. So that was the size of it then, and here it is right now. To my eye, even before processing, it already seems a little bit bigger, so I think it's definitely still on the kind of upwards swing of brightening. Tariq, planetary and EAA, SharpCap plus FC, DSOs equals Nina SG Pro. Yeah. Yep, did the scale. Yeah. Sorry, mate. I didn't understand at first. Yeah. Rick says, amazing scope, mate. Thank you very much indeed, mate. It's a shame you had to send it back. You love it. Yeah. The Quattro, I understand you're on about now. Yeah, it was a bloody lovely scope as well, but that's the way she goes. At least the Quattro 8, seems to be just as nice, really. Let's see. David O'Flanagan. Hands up if you think M101 is going to be the most captured target in the Northern Hemisphere over the next few months. Yeah, hands up, mate. My hands up for sure. At least until initial excitement dies down a little bit. I don't think it'd be quite as exciting to shoot as it begins to peter away in brightness. At least I imagine not, anyway. I've just seen your message there, Troll Shack. Yeah, I'm glad that I explained that for you, mate. Just seen that I've missed some messages from Frank, M81, M82. Sorry I didn't get to them in time, mate. Hey up there, Mark. Thanks for joining in. Isaac P says, what processing did you do to get that final picture? A quick rundown in PixInsight would be neat to see. Not actually that much. I kind of just want to keep the thing live for us tonight and maybe do a rundown on another night if enough people are interested in that kind of thing, if that's all right. But basically, yeah, it wasn't extensive processing by any means. Just I cleared up the background of the shot using AstroPixel Processor before I even exported it over to PixInsight, using the crop tool and the remove light pollution tools, as I found they're really robust at getting rid of complex gradients like the ones that I had to deal with for this particular image, Isaac. Then after that, once it was in PixInsight, I gave it one run of DBE, image solver script, spectro photometric color calibration. I passed it through that. BlurXTerminator, NoiseXTerminator, and then I stretched it by hand using the histogram tool until I was satisfied, because I didn't have much data to work with. I didn't want to leave it up to a stretching tool, which sometimes can be a little bit overzealous, shall we say, on data that's limited in its depth. I hope that explains that a little bit for you, and sorry I couldn't be more in depth for you there, Isaac. Frank M81 M82. I set the PhD to dither scale to the main camera pixels scale / guide pixel scale. I see, mate. I've definitely got it set to do quite aggressive dithers on my rig, as I do find it just smooths out the image that little bit more. Or at least it seems to. I could be talking absolute nonsense. That wouldn't be the first time that's happened. Troll Shark says, it'll be cool to see because you know someone will, someone will absolutely just spend every possible clear night doing this. Getting a GIF or a video collage of the supernova before, during, and after when it dims out. That's a very good point, mate. Yeah, that would be supremely cool to do. Rick says, I'll be imaging as long as you are tonight, bud. Good to know that I've got an imaging buddy. Hope our skies stay clear while the missus is away in Doncaster. That's very close to me, Doncaster. So you get to play with a clear conscience. That's fabulous. Good on you, mate, for using your evening like that. Andrew Bennett, Night Luke, great live stream again. I can't wait for your final image to catch up again with you soon and say hi to Chloe. I will indeed say hi to Chloe, and thank you again, mate, for all your support over the years. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you spending your time with me tonight as well. Cheers. Richard Dowding, thanks, Luco. I thought it had got a lot brighter until I realised I'd run BlurXTerminator on the earlier image and shrunk the stars. Won't make that mistake again. Yeah, there is definitely a learning curve getting used to these new AI-based tools for sure, but once you are used to them, I mean, they're amazing. Glad to hear that, Isaac. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, mate. Mark Caron, any tips on the ZWO 533? Sorry, I've got an itchy nose tonight. I can't seem to process out the overall green cast after stretching in PixInsight. Tried many of the tips on cloudy nights, but no luck yet. Well, when you click to stretch, if you're using the STF tool on PixInsight, you may want to click the little chain link icon, and that will instead give you a unlinked stretch. And you should notice immediately that all that green cast should be in a much more color balanced state. So if you get the chance to give that a go, Mark, then that could help. Dumpy Dalek says, me too. Try and stay up and get as much data as you can. That's the spirit, mate. Yes. Green Cat's just hit 60 minutes. Superb. Sharp cap stack not looking too shabby. You seem to have the same left to right gradient as me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you're imaging from, Green Cat, but it seems to be prevalent across my image for sure. No problem, Mark. Ooh, Spaztech, Carl, yeah. So you just pulled the trigger on the ZWO C-Star S50 pre-order at £6.6. I think it will fit on the GS perfectly. Mate, congratulations. Yeah, I think they look like a really cool little scope. And I imagine for like your style of moto camping and things like that, that is going to be a really well-used tool. I think you're going to get tons and tons and tons of use and value for your money out of that. Oh, you're from Manchester, Green Cat, I see, yeah. We're probably dealing with the same sort of locational light pollution then. We're not actually really that far away from one another, are we? Tariq says, I see many here are using the ASI or just 533 sensor in general. Is it worthy? Because I don't know if it will be an upgrade or a downgrade or just an addition to my collection. I guess that depends on what you already have, Tariq. I hope I'm getting your name correct there, by the way, mate. You'd have to let us know what you're currently using, what you have in your camera collection, and we could maybe give you some better advice as to whether it'll be worth you investing in that kind of thing. Two Rivers Observatory, you're all set up and just waiting for darkness to fall. Superb, mate. Can't wait for you. Another 533 lover in Green Cat there. I'm just going to take a quick look at the sky and visit the little boy's room. All this Pepsi's going straight through me. Yeah, I'll be back in just a minute or so, guys. Speak soon. Yo, I'm back. Let's see what I've missed. Is that gradient just light pollution / leakage? Light pollution mainly, in my case, mate, I think. There is some extra gradient added from, I think, a reflective adapter inside my image train, but I've been trying to track that down for a while now. Green Cat, you're on a 533 MC Pro 2 and you love it. I think I read that one. Glad to hear, though. Glad to hear. Crimson Drums. I got the Player One Uranus C thanks to Luke's review. Oh, mate, that's fabulous. You absolutely love it. Yeah, we love it too. That is a fact. I can't think of a camera that's better value for money, actually, for astronomy than that thing. He left. Quickly deploy the clouds. No, I'm back. In all seriousness, though, I think there is a little bit of cloud just... I mean, it's way off to the west right now, and I hope it stays that way, actually. Name checks out. Yeah. Andy says, if you captured M101 on the first night, BlurXTerminator nukes the Supernova quite badly, so you might want to tweak its settings before running it. That is good to know, Andy. Interesting. Not a problem I had, because it wasn't clear on that first session, but yeah. Deep Space Dave, I'm using my QHY 3715C tonight to image M101, try number 2. To get a nice zoom on your RAS 8. Good luck to you, mate. You've been doing some absolutely wonderful work with that setup. Lee Polikoff. Any recommendations for a mid-priced camera to pair with an Astrotech 72 ED2? Good question. By mid-priced, I assume... I mean, this is just an assumption, but are you meaning slightly above what a modified DSLR would cost? Just getting into the realms of cooled cameras, because if so, then something like the 533 is actually a pretty nice companion. Lots of people have been mentioning those tonight. Stephen Grunfeld, gotta go. Thanks for the live stream and the info. My pleasure, mate. Thank you very much indeed for spending your time. I appreciate it. Just turn down sharpen stars on BlurXTerminator, Frudix says. That way you can still sharpen up the galaxy and leave the supernova nice and bright. Interesting. Yeah, I guess you could always perhaps try and remove the stars and hope that the supernova gets removed along with it. Then run the entire thing through BlurXTerminator and add the stars back in. But then again, just as I've talked my way through that, that shouldn't work because it needs the stars to calculate a PSF, doesn't it? I'll redact that info. Last 8 frames have not been stacked because could not align. Wonder what's going on there. We seem to be having some rapid brightening of these last few frames, so that's not good to see. I wonder if that checks out on the brightness log. Yeah, so we've got some passing clouds, I imagine, or something like that, guys, which is stopping things for us right now. I'll just show you that graph as I realise my camera's cutting off part of it. So yeah, the last few frames have not been working, but hopefully it's going to take a turn and start going the right way. Again, we can only hope. Deep Space Dave for BlurXTerminator, just turn the star sharpening all the way down and then it will just correct and enhance the galaxy arms. Nice one, mate. Good to know that. Yeah. Two Rivers Observatory. I checked my ZWO filter drawer and you were right, it only goes in one way. Well, that's good to know, mate. At least we know for absolute sure now that that is how it works. So cheers for checking that and reporting back. Appreciate it. Wonder how much more time we've got tonight, because obviously my nights here in the UK are not very long this time of year. Looks like we've definitely had some issues there, because the previous exposures, look at how much more of the galaxy you could see on this exposure right here, for example, as compared to the most recent one that just came in when it loads. Half an hour later, there it is. Yeah, no wonder it's not stacking those. Oh well. I'll answer my own question about darkness. We are pretty much exactly halfway through the night for me, so I'll just keep going and hope that it clears up, and we'll do as best. Till then though, for anybody who's just joining in, sorry for everybody who's having to listen to me repeat this, but for everybody who doesn't know where to look, the supernova is right there, just on the edge of that particular nebulous region in the spiral arm of M101. Isaac P. You could calculate a PSF with dynamic PSF. Yeah, that's true. Then remove the stars and run BXT using the manual PSF option. Good point. Good way of thinking about it, mate, yeah. Rick, your nights are my nights. I share your pain. My brother, yeah. Oh, mate. I'm glad I'm not sharing this burden alone. Pity, I hope I can find supernovas next year to capture. Yeah, I mean, I guess this, we're lucky that this is the closest one in a decade, apparently. So it's got that cool particular tag attached to it, but there's always going to be more, mate, to image, so don't feel too bad. Green Cat says, I point a security camera at the sky to watch for clouds. That's a good way of doing things. A bit like an all-sky camera, but I don't know, more reasonably priced as far as solutions go. Let's take a little adjustment on this. Looks fairly nice, I'd say. Lee Polikoff. You were looking at the 533 MC and the 533 MC Pro. Is it worth saving a few bucks and getting the non-cooled version, or will I regret it? I mean, for me, Lee, if it's not going to mean that you have to survive eating rice and beans only for a few months, then yeah, I would probably invest the extra and get the thermoelectrically cooled version, if for no other reason than the fact that, well, your image quality ceiling is going to be a tiny bit higher, but also resale value, because one day, you know, you probably will come to sell this camera, will be improved by the fact that it's a tech cooled version. Tariq asks some good questions though as well, yeah. What do you want the camera for? Planetaries or DSOs? I know that the uncooled 533 doesn't generate much thermal noise anyway, but still, the cooled one will be a touch better. Wombat Zone. M101 only gets to 4 degrees on my horizon. Wow. That's rough, mate, yeah. But, that said, in Oz, you guys do get some bloody lovely targets to make up for it, so swings and roundabouts, mate. Crimson Drums, you would love to see a live stream of the Witcher's Head. Man, I mean, maybe I could try this winter. It doesn't get very high for me, though. And I am shooting from an extremely light polluted location, so no guarantees on how that one would turn out, I guess. It could be a great big nothing burger. Wisecam V2. Camera works well in low light mode. Less than $50. Wow. Titch, yeah, mind your head, mate. Mind your head. Rick, I'd eat rice and beans for a year for a tech cooler. Me too, mate, yeah. Me too, we're in the same boat. Ramen's not that bad, is it? NJuby. I had fetched the PSF using the PSF image script after using StarXTerminator. Was curious if the BXT Auto PSF processes differently than when manually entered. Good question. in my admittedly limited testing, when using the PSF script versus letting BXT just do it on its own, mate, I just don't notice much difference, to be honest. I'm sure there is a difference, and if you're looking to eke every single last possible micro advantage you can, then maybe you want to do it manually. But for me, life's just not long enough. I'd rather have my time back, thanks. Tariq, oh no, rice and beans. Thinking about a third APS-C camera, yeah. IMX571 specifically. Which one? A second mono or a second colour? I mean, that's a nice problem to find yourself having. I'm going to say that for sure, bud. Depends what you want to shoot, I guess. DSOs primarily, budget between 500 and 1,000. Yeah, it's got to be something like the 533. I think is perfect at that sort of price range. As long as you're happy with the image format being kind of square, that's needs to be added into the conversation. Deep Space Dave, if you differ well the difference between cooled and non-cooled narrows, yeah, that's true. Especially on these newer sensors where they already generate like vanishingly low levels of thermal noise anyway. It's just a kind of a non-issue. I don't know if you guys can see, but the cloud looks to be passing. If you can just see the end of that brightness graph, it looks like it bottomed out and it's starting to get brighter now. So with any luck, we will start to be able to stack some frames again very soon indeed. Whoops, alter the display histogram stretch then. Yeah, not too long to wait, guys, again, before we can start seeing it properly live. Here's what we're looking at as of the last frame. So it is starting to brighten back up. Hi, Luke. Hello, Chloe. Could you give us on the cat unit a shout out? My heart goes out to you all. You do a fantastic job. And I'm sure that many people out there, their lives wouldn't be the same without what you guys do day in, day out. So shout out to you, the cat unit, LGI. Hope you're having a good evening, and much love coming from my way at the very least. And oh, how is your image going as well? One way to find out. I'll check. One sec. Yeah, not bad. It seems like you're having a productive, very remote session there, Chloe. Crimson Drums says, what is your opinion on 2x2 binning? My opinion on it works great if you've got oversampled images, and I mean like seriously oversampled. But to be honest, I always prefer capturing in bin 1x1 wherever possible and just resampling after the fact if you want, because then you've always got the option of sticking with the data as it was initially captured. The only thing you really gain when binning 2x2 is smaller file sizes. That's one of the main things. So images stack up a lot faster. Rick, happy to data pull with you, mate, for any cloud cover. Shooting mono with an Altair 26M, so I'll have your back if you've got mine through cloud cover. Mate, we're unstoppable. As a team, we can do this. Andrew Bennett at Lee, save the money if you can and go cooled. Yeah, I agree, mate. It makes start libraries and taking flats much easier rather than having to use up your imaging time. Yep. Good advice, as always, from Andy there. Stefan, good luck with the rest of the session. I have to hit the bed now. Thanks for the live stream. It's my pleasure, mate. Thank you very much indeed for spending some of your evening with me. It is appreciated. Hope you have a great night. Chloe says, I used 2x2 binning on the Esprit 120 and the 183mm. We did. That's true for a while. But if you also remember, Chloe, we did some experiments with bin 1x1 mode. And it turned out that the Esprit was sharp enough that we actually were giving up some resolution, binning 2x2. Lee Polikoff, thanks for recommendations. My pleasure, mate. Yeah, for any part I've played. If you have more questions, by the way, don't feel bad. Fire away, and I'm sure I and many others will do our best to help you tonight. We'll switch back to the live stack view. So this should hopefully start to stack up properly again very shortly for you guys. What telescope are you using tonight? So Ball of Gum asks that. I'm using a Celestron Rasa 11. That's an f2.2 Roe Ackermann Schmidt astrograph. So it's an astrophotography only telescope. You can't use it for anything else really. So no visual observations of the kind. Really specialized bit of kit, but you know, this is kind of my thing. This is all I do, so it made sense. I'm back, and no counterweights were harmed in the rotating of the dome. I'm glad to hear that, mate. Yeah. Massive asks what tube are we using here tonight. If you just missed it, mate, it's a Celestron Rasa 11 f2.2. Ballagum says really powerful scope. Yeah, it is, mate. I am a lucky boy, indeed. A friend of mine offered it to me at a steal, pretty much literally. A great deal. So yeah, I decided to absolutely smash my bank account into bits and buy it. Why not? Wombat Zone. I really want an 8-inch Maxitov Newt carbon fiber model. Yes, mate. Some of those Magnoots are beautiful scopes. Especially, I don't know if you get them over in Australia, but the Orion Optics ones, really nice. Alec Shah asks, what is the focal length of the Rasa? Good question. I should really have said that. It's 620 millimeters at f2.2. So relatively middling, I would say, as far as focal lengths go, but still plenty enough punch and resolution to get some nice detail in this galaxy. So as you can see, we're looking at just a live stacked view right now on SharpCap, and if we zoom in a little bit, there's a lot of detail to be seen, even before we start to recover extra details with deconvolution and things later on with a proper stack. There's flocculent cloud detail going right down into the core of the galaxy. There's nebula regions showing up individually from one another in the spiral arms, especially up here. There's some extra granular detail on display, which just looks fantastic. Yeah, I'm dead impressed by what this telescope can do. Ball of Gum. If you remember my comment about the 50 ED, the rig is really good. I only got about 8 minutes on the boards and cigar. I could see quite a lot. My friend thought it was 30 minutes. That's awesome. Yeah, I do remember you asking about that, mate. You mentioned the flattener, I do believe. And yeah, what a capable setup. Can't fault you at all for using that. Green Cat. I still have my Orion Optics LX150 you bought in 1994. Don't blame you. Yeah. Very nice. Have you had to have that resilvered or anything in all that time, or is it still on its original coatings? Massive says, dang, my Explore Scientific 127 with times 0.65. So I guess that's one of the, are they called Edge L reducers? That's just a guess. Is 620 at f4.9. Can only imagine it being 2 times that fast. Yeah, it's weird how f ratios work. It's probably more like about 8 times as fast, this raster. It's so strange. Excited to get actual data once Canada's smoke clears. Currently can only see like 30 or 40 stars, even though I'm in a ball 4. That's rough, mate. Yeah, I hope it clears up for all you guys over there. Elon Musk has a lot to answer for right now. He's doing his best, mate. He's doing his best. Still the original coatings. Upgraded the focuser though. Nice. Massive says, I like to image with the Evo Guide 50 ED. I like to call it the cheap cat. Brilliant. Crimson Drums. What are your favourite type of DSO? Nebulas and galaxies, etc. Can you give us your top 3 all-time targets? Oh, mate, what a question. Right. Let me think. My absolute favourite type of target. I see I'm conflicted. Even as I say this, the words are sticking in my throat. But galaxies, I think, has to be number 1, simply because of what they represent. We're looking at another distant galaxy. I mean, right now, it seems absolutely feasible to me, in my mind, that there's someone out there in one of those spiral arms in another Goldilocks zone, just like we exist in, that's looking back right at us, maybe taking an image of our galaxy. So that's... it always kind of engages me massively. But second favourite, planetary nebula, actually. I absolutely love them. I find them completely enchanting to see. And coming up third, SNRs, I'd say. Standard supernova remnants. They're always so violent looking. You know what I mean? You can see the force that shaped them in many cases. So, yeah, makes you appreciate just how much power there is out there and how small we are, and delicate too. I hope that goes to explain that for you, Crimson Drums. Top 3 all-time targets, by the way, as well. M51, probably my favourite galaxy. Just so iconic and photogenic. M57 coming up second. Again, one of those targets that's embedded in my mind, and really nice planetary nebula. And coming up third, simply because of seeing it in books and stuff as a child while growing up, and the impact it had on me, M16, the Eagle Nebula. That's probably my third favourite target. Sorry about going on and on for that to anybody uninterested. By the way, for anybody who's just joining, we are looking at a very recent image, 34 minutes old or so, just a little bit older. And there is the supernova in the field of view for anybody who's watching it. David Huff, once you go RASA, you can never go back to a regular telescope. Yeah, pretty much. Until you actually use one, I guess it's... Yeah, I put myself off from buying a RASA for ages, and then finally got talked into it by my friend, because I actually literally bought his RASA, and I'm glad I did. Yeah, very, very nice telescopes, but extremely finicky, it's fair to say. You sent those clouds over my way. I'm sorry about that, Green Cat. I hope they clear off, bud. Your last 2 subs have been musked. That's ace. I'm going to start calling it being musked. Yeah. Hey, Luke. Hey there, Brody. Good to see you, mate. Thanks for joining in again. It was nice to chat with you a little bit in the last live stream as well. Hope you've had some clear skies, by the way, and a chance to image if you want to do some of that. What do we got? No RASAs here. Siegfried asks, hey Luke, have a question. How do you check your sky quality? Do you just look at the HFR value or the mean value? Just curious. Honestly, I just look at the subs visually, and if it's looking bad, if it's getting, let's say, brighter, like this, so we can see now we've definitely got cloud passing through the field of view, because the mean values have shot up to 35,000. I can hear PhD, and I can see in PhD that we're having trouble recovering from dithers. The screen is greyed out. You can see straight away that the sky quality is dropped off. But other than that, using Nina's HFR history graph, if you guys can see that on stream, that's also a decent indicator of sky quality, and the amount of stars too. If that number's very high, the sky quality is probably really good. But the ultimate one, the one I use most of all, is just my eyeballs. I'm so used to my location now, I can just take a look, let my eyes adjust for a few moments and see if it's a good night or not, really. Ball of gum. Crazy how bright that supernova is. I saw people getting photos of it on their iPhone. Yes. That's nuts. Someone just in chat earlier on mentioned they'd get a photo of it using the Dwarf 2 smart telescope. So that's like 30mm of aperture. Absolutely smashed it. Crimson Drums asks, have you got another target in mind for your next live stream when you're finished with this one? Good question, mate. I don't. I'd be lying if I said that I did. So no, I don't right now. But if it's something that people are enjoying doing, yeah, I would be happy to pick something else and image it with you guys. If I'm not doing this, I'd probably just be doing the same thing all on my own, and recording for a video, perhaps, that kind of thing. But this is a really different experience, and I think someone mentioned earlier on as well that this is what YouTube's really good for, and I have to agree. It is pretty good, being able to bounce off one another and share information and ideas live. Especially given that I seem to turn into a real chatterbox when presenting a live stream. Pete's Astrophotography. Hey there, Pete. Hope you're keeping well, mate. Evening/morning, Luke. Yeah, evening to you too, bud. Which constellation or stars is it closest to? Southern Hemisphere. You're out of luck, I'm afraid, mate. It's a Northern Hemisphere target, really, this. It's near Ursa Major. Glad that were useful, Siegfried. Blue Lemon. I have a quick question. If I take exposures over multiple nights, how would darks go if they're different temperatures? Good question. Generally, it's not advised to do that, but if you have no other option, then it really doesn't matter. You'll have to just go with it. If you start seeing problems like amp glow creeping into your images, if your camera suffers from that problem, then you may have to worry about trying to capture some temperature matched darks to go along with it. Hope that answers that for you, Blue Lemon. Brody MK45. Smoke all the way down here in Chicago, says Dave. Yeah. Stephen Helixer. Hey, good to chat with you on Instagram the other day, mate. And a very nice image you took as well. M63. That is a beautiful target. Good suggestion, yeah. Good suggestion. I'll have to see. I've got some actual... I'm not allowed to say. I've got some super secret gear, anyway. I wish I could say, but I'd be breaking a promise to a friend. Coming, which could be extremely suitable for shooting M63, we shall say. So if that comes in time, and you guys are interested in seeing more of this kind of thing, let's do it. It's a date. This one says, clear outside is showing me Thursday will be good. Finally managed to hear in Northern Ohio. Oh, mate. Yes, good luck for Thursday. Milky coffee time. Yes. I'm still, unfortunately, having to pound this Pepsi down me. Would have loved to have joined you for a milky coffee there. Sounds nice. Aussie Gold, lucky me. Yeah. It sucks, doesn't it, mate? I'm sorry about that. You can see all of Booties, and you can see the feet and belly of the bear. Ooh. Yeah, it's, I can't remember the name of the leftmost star in Ursa Major, but yeah, it's above that even, so it's even closer to being a truly circumpolar target for us up here in the north. So I guess it's just out of reach for Southern Hemisphere chaps such as yourself, mate. I'm sorry about that. You do have a bunch of other constellation prizes, though, I will say that. Hey, no problem, Stephen. Yeah, thanks again for getting in contact, by the way, mate. Yeah, it's always cool to hear from people. That will definitely help. Good to hear that, mate. Pretty hard to get a lot of data on school nights, but it's ending soon, so you'll be able to stay up as long as you need. Nice. Enjoy school while you're in it, though, mate. Yeah. Definitely. It seems like a lifetime ago that I was still in school. Kind of miss it. Stephen Helixer. I tried imaging the sunflower last night. It was rubbish. Oh no. It's one of those things, I think, where if you're imaging the sunflower, you really need the atmosphere to be on board and willing to play ball with you, because there's so much fine cloud lane detail and flocculent detail in that one. It can either be a smeared mess or look absolutely stunning, can it? Maybe do the sombrejo. Oh man, I love that target. Yeah, you know, that person who asked what's my top 3 targets, well, that's number 4, I think, the sombrero M104. Unfortunately, a little bit low for me here. Lee, if you're still in chat, mate, thank you very much indeed for spending some time with us tonight. It's been appreciated. I appreciate the triangulations. My pleasure, mate. I'm sorry I couldn't be more specific. I used to have much more knowledge of the star names and things like that back when I was still doing visual astronomy, but I find that these days with GoTo, it's slipped. I'm not going to lie. I can still name plenty of stars, but not to the detail that I used to. Crimson Drums. What focal length would you suggest for small DSOs, like the Eskimo or Blinking Nebula? Longest scope you have is Celestron 102-660. Would that be long enough focal length? It would be long enough focal length, yes. If you're using a camera with small enough pixels to get a sufficiently fine sampling ratio. So it's all about that little dance between focal length and pixel size, and ultimately the number that really matters, image scale. That's what it's all about. So yeah, if what you have is 102-660 there, mate, you absolutely can hit those targets, but you're gonna really benefit from a small pixel camera. Blue Lemon. I want it to end, but once it does, I'll miss the classes I had the previous year. Yeah, that's what I think I were exactly the same, mate, while I was still in school. Couldn't wait till it was over, and now it's over, and you've got to do other stuff with your time. I kind of wish I was back. Not true anymore, though, because I absolutely love being able to do YouTube. So, yeah, take from that what you will. Keith M. Listening to Pink Floyd. The Wall, of course. Yeah. Cloudy nights. Thought I would get some work done, but now I am watching you. I'm happy you're spending your evening with me. That's very nice of you, Keith. And I'm sorry I'm causing you to maybe slightly procrastinate, but all work and no play would make a dull Keith. So you enjoy yourself, mate. Dumpy Dalek says, Helix Nebula is one of my faves. Yeah, man, that is a beautiful target. Chuffed to have finally imaged it. The Needle Galaxy is another fave. Yeah, it's another magical target. There's so many good ones, but there's so many to choose from. Yeah, pretty much, exactly. Aussie Gold says, I have been spending a good year trying harder to learn them all with the Stellaria map. Wow, that's quite an undertaking, mate. Venus and the moon were quite nice last night. Yeah, they looked awesome, actually. Just as I was pushing the roof off the observatory, I took a peek and noticed they're quite close together, aren't they, right now? Well, at least from our apparent perspective, they are. Blue Lemon, you're going to try for the pinwheel. Yeah, go for it, mate. Beautiful target, as you can see. I mean, what more could you want? It's a challenging target, though. Oh, you're imaging with the Redcat 51. Sorry, I should have really finished the rest of your comment there. Not many big DSOs. Yeah, we imaged with the Redcat 51 as Chloe's main scope for a long time. And it always punches well above its weight class, I would say. Superb scope. Ball of Gum. 50 ED in the Uranus C pushes you to an FOV capable of a load of galaxies. Yeah. Yeah, them little pixels on the Uranus, the 2.9 micron pixels. Glad you got the camera during Galaxy season. That's perfect. Pete's Astro. Late to the party tonight, but was busy Getting more processing practice in. Well, that's always a good way to spend some time, mate. Yeah. I think we talked about that in a comment recently, actually. Brody, sucks how south the helix is. Yeah. From my location right here, it just skirts some neighbouring rooftops in the southern sky. You're good when the constellations are in order and most of the major stars. Well, that's a damn sight better than me, mate. Yeah. Good on you for learning all that. Rick says, you know you're onto something when you're on blue, and SN 2023 IXF is the brightest part of your frame, let alone M101. It really is quite blue, isn't it, mate? Yeah. If we just zoom in a little bit, it's got such a strong blue component to it. Really interesting. I guess that's to do with the heat of the event, making it glow such a bright blue colour. Blue Lemon, my Leo triplet came out pretty good as one of your first ever DSO attempts. One of your first evers, that's awesome. Do you have any tips on getting more colour with Bottle 6 and a DSLR? More time, really, mate. That's the main thing. However long you shot for, if you found there wasn't enough colour, double it. That would be my first recommendation if you want to do that kind of thing. Other than that, you can do some really aggressive processing if needed, depending on which type of processing package you're using. I'll process this image in Pix Insight, where you can get, really into the image and take out everything that you need. But if you're still using free software, for example, it can be a little bit more challenging to get the image that you're looking for. Bit of a long-winded answer, but I hope you get what I'm getting at there, mate. Dumpy Dalek says, you've managed it here in the UK, Brody, but at 17 degrees high, it wasn't the sharpest image, yeah. Yeah, it's tough, but it's nice to have got it. You've got a Celestron PowerSeeker 60 AZ and an S21 Ultra. Nice. Looking forward to getting a proper tracking Celestron. Good man. Keith M asks, what is Chloe shooting tonight? I will just get the name for you because I've completely forgot once again. So it's NGC 7129. That's what Chloe's shooting. She picked out that target and we were initially both going to shoot it. But then this event came along and I thought, okay, change of plans. What time is it in the UK? It is 1:30 in the morning, Brody. Tariq asks, who is just starting Astro recently and who did start a long time or a long while ago? Yeah, long time for me, mate. Long time ago. Siegfried, gonna leave. Hey, thanks so much for joining in, Siegfried. As always, mate, I appreciate all of your support that you've shown right from starting, actually. I know you're one of those that's been there from the very beginning, mate, so thanks. Your Leo triplet and bows and cigar were only around 1 hour. Yeah, Photoshop. I have no experience in Photoshop, so I can't really comment too much on that, but I know it's a very powerful program if you know your way around it properly. That said, yeah, 1 hour, you are always going to kind of struggle with 1 hour, unfortunately, mate, especially from quite a light fluid location. It'd be near midnight there as it's 10:30. Yeah, it's half past 1, mate. Oh, I didn't realise you're still in chat, Chloe. Hope you're having a good shift. Hope my shout out was okay for your ward. Crimson Drums says, can you use a region of interest on small DSOs for a bit of extra reach? Usually it's used for planets. Got the Uranus C camera. You can indeed, yeah, that's absolutely possible. That said, it's only just a perceived reach. You're not really gaining anything over actually just shooting the entire frame, except for smaller file sizes. So in that case, I would definitely just shoot with your full file size and crop down after the fact if you want, and you've got more options during processing. I hope that answers that for you, mate. John Davis, thanks for joining in, John. Enjoying the live feed. Cloudy here in West London, but a possible break tomorrow night. Oh, mate, my fingers are crossed for you. Going to use your Edge 925 with the 0.7 rather than the Hyperstar. Galaxies are not easy in bought late to 9. Yeah, mate, that's an understatement for sure. I can only imagine how tough that is there. So good on you for giving it a go, mate. I'm sure you're still going to get something pleasing. It's 4:30 a.m. there for you, Tariq. Wow. Good on you, mate, for sticking it out this long. You managed to start in August. I think you can still image it in early September before it goes, okay? 2 to 3 years in astrophotography for Brody. But 1 year in tracked. Nice. Any thoughts on Beetlejuice going supernova? Aussie Gold asks. Yeah, I mean, I think we're probably in the boat of we all hope it happens tomorrow, and then we'll have something interesting to view, but it's just a case of when. When will it go? Because from what I've heard and read about that target, even though it is, in a rather violent phase of its life right now, we can't really predict whether it's going to go off later tonight or 1,000 years from now. So, yeah, it's just a case of sitting on your hands and waiting for that one, I guess. Pete's Astrophotography. You got back to it a couple of years ago, okay, but started 30 plus years ago using film cameras. That's awesome, mate. You must have some fantastic memories from then. Or maybe some really annoying memories, I guess, having to manually guide things and that kind of thing. You're going to go for around 3 hours for your next targets, Blue Lemon says. Yeah, that'd be a perfect start, mate. I think you'll notice a real big difference by that time. And also, if you can, just to mention an extra point for you, Blue Lemon, if you are going after galaxies and broadband objects and you want to seek out some colour in them, make sure you're doing it when the moon isn't up, effectively, mate. Because if the moon's up, it's going to be far brighter than most of the delicate colour detail that you're going to find in a galaxy, so you really would be stacking yourself up against it then, mate. Just an extra tip. Yeah, Tariq there, Aussie, it was going to be a supernova, but the star decided at the end it wasn't a big drama, so it went back to normal. Yeah. Bulbal, question. I always have lots of noise. Is it because I use DSLR? Even though I take calibration images and long hours of exposures. Good question. I would expect, yes. DSLR is probably part of it, especially if you're not using an extremely modern DSLR, which are less affected by temperature and things like that. Your local imaging temperature is going to be one of the main factors as to how noisy a DSLR is for you, as will your local light pollution and the F ratio of your telescope system that you're using too. If you're using a super fast scope, you get to a nice high signal to noise ratio much faster. So there's a lot of factors that go into it, but I hope that explains some of it for you, mate. Decided it might go supernova about 345,000 years later. Yeah, this is the thing, innit, mate? I guess it could. Started in 1992. Wow, with a Praktica 35mm film camera and a 50mm lens. One of the OGs, mate. Nice. Had to step out for a bit. How long are you still streaming for? Good question, Astrocade. Let's take a little bit of a look, because I know that subframes have very much paused right now. As you can see, we're getting nil usable data as of the last, what was this, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 9 frames, 10 frames or more. I guess I'll just tough it out until Astro Dawn, perhaps, unless it just seems like the night is truly over, in which case we'd probably cut it short. But I am having fun talking to people all the same. For anybody who's just joined, wants to know where the supernova is, it is that feature right there on M101 that previously wasn't visible until the 19th of this month. Brody says, it would suck not being able to image anything else. Yeah, it would, mate. But on the flip side of that coin, I mean, can you imagine how cool it would be to be able to say you've lived through that event? John Davis, you should be drinking a decent pint of beer rather than that Coke. What's up with astronomers these days? Yeah, you've got a fair point. You've got a fair point. No, to be honest, mate, I am the least big drinker in the world. I have I probably consume about 5 units of alcohol a year. I'm a right boring bugger. Crimson Drums. Orion is my favourite constellation. Yes, mate, good choice. Wouldn't look the same if Betelgeuse goes supernova. It wouldn't look the same, but can you imagine seeing the new feature that would be there? Something probably reminiscent of the Crab Nebula, something like that. And extremely bright, I would imagine too. Extremely bright for a long time. Pete's Astrophotography, yes. CMOS/CCD cameras are a joy compared to film. I can only imagine, mate. Yeah, that's one of those things, I guess, where you guys with the prior experience of actually having used film will truly be able to appreciate what we're going through today, where we've got it easier than ever, really. Try to avoid shooting around the full and brighter moon phases. Okay, yeah, hopefully it'll be good during the current phase. Yeah, as of right now, mate, it's not too bad, but we are in a brightening moon phase. It's getting more illuminated every night. Tariq says, since I bought a cooled camera for Astro, I never looked back. Yeah, kind of me too, mate. I can still appreciate DSLRs and the usage cases, for sure. So I don't want to poo-poo them. But yeah, if you can get a cooled camera, definitely get one. Jason Waite, thank you for joining in, Jason. I appreciate you coming by, mate. Such a great idea for a stream. Sending best wishes from Vancouver, Canada. That's really kind of you, mate. I wishing all the best for you too, mate. Thank you. Did you put your film in the fridge to keep it cool? Jeez. I guess that was really sensitive, eh? Blue Lemon, would I be able to see the supernova with a wide field of view? Yes. If you're talking about the M101 Supernova right now, you would absolutely be able to see that. It's totally doable. Rick says, you still have an imaging buddy, mate. I also plan to be up until Astro Dawn. Clouds permitting, of course. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear coming through on the live stream, but PhD is not happy at the minute. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I'll just keep plugging away, and hopefully these clouds will bugger off in a little bit. All we can do is hope for the best, eh? Last night's image, for anybody who wants to see it. Well, not last night, the night before. This was the result of about 90 minutes of data being stacked up, and that's the supernova feature in it right there. Pretty cool. We haven't managed that much data tonight, but still you can see the supernova appears to have grown in just a couple of days. I should have to turn this PC down, I guess. That could be annoying. Sorry if that was causing anybody's eardrums to bust. Not my intention. Bulbal says, tracking mount IXOS 100, Astrotech ED2 doublet, Canon SL3, which is a pretty recent model. Yeah, L enhanced filter, and you're from Texas. Well, I guess Texas at this time of year, if I'm not mistaken, is probably pretty warm. So that's likely going to be one of the main factors to there being noise in your image. And also, if you aren't in, out in the sticks areas of Texas, away from the light pollution, then that's probably your next biggest source as well, or probably joint biggest source, is local light pollution. AZ Ray asks, hey Luke, how are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you too, Ray. Thanks for popping in, mate. I am doing fantastic, without putting too fine of a point on it. Yeah, doing really wonderful, mate. I hope you are too. Brody MK, usually stop at around 40 to 50% lunar phase when the moon hits magnitude -10 on Stellarium. Yeah, I guess having a cut-off point in mind is always useful. Sometimes I'll push it on a little bit longer than I should, really, just because I'm always hungry to get more data. But many times it's pointless, I just end up throwing it away. Aussie Gold says, I'd heard I believe it was Orion, that if we were orbiting any of those stars there would be no dark night like we know it. Yeah, I can imagine that's probably true, mate. We'd be getting illuminated by that bright nebulosity. Probably wouldn't be a very conducive place for life to form, though, I guess. All the X-rays and other types of radiation flying around in those areas of space, though. Bolligom. In a couple of years, I'm going to replace the Uranus C with an IMX533 camera. Nice. Or something different. If there's a new cold budget king. But I want to see what I can do with the current camera I have. Absolutely, mate. You should, yeah. The 585 that's in the Uranus C is a majorly capable sensor. I can't say enough good things about that. I had tons of fun using mine, and yeah, I don't think its days are done with, that's for sure. It's got plenty of life in it yet. Crimson Drums asks, have you ever shot a mineral moon, Luke? I'm going to start doing individual craters on the moon. Lots to go at. That is for sure, yeah. You're going to have no shortage of targets there, mate. I have shot a mineral moon before. Yes, indeed. I could probably dig out an image for you in a second. But it was a long time ago, and with only a small telescope, so it's nothing magnificent. Tariq says, okay, I forgot I had a question last week. I will ask it here again and see more opinions from you. Okay, mate. Stephen Alexer, you're off. Cheers, Luke. Hey, cheers, Stephen. Sorry if I've missed you saying bye there, mate. I'm struggling to catch up with chat right here. Ping of Doom, yes, indeed. You want to buy a small guide scope for your small imaging scope. The imaging scope is either a 60 or a 72mm, so which guide scope? I'm planning to buy a small portable mount for that setup. Well, if you want ultimate portability and weight savings, it might be worth looking into off-axis guiding, Tariq, as you're probably going to be imaging through the same sort of focal length or similar as a guide scope that would match that kind of setup. You could probably get away with, outside of that, a 30mm guide scope as an option, like the ones that are offered by ZWO, though. That's also a nice little setup. Blue Lemon says, is there a certain cooled camera or one that fits your focal length and such? It's more whatever fits your focal length. These days we've got access to wonderfully sharp telescopes and nice small pixel cameras, so we can nearly always make the most of whatever it is that we're imaging with. So getting your choice right is easier today than it has ever been, I'd say. Yeah, Ball of Gum said the same sort of recommendation. Just check Solarium. It's near the point on the tail of Ursa Major. You'll be able to view it. Oh, that's cool, mate. You will be able to see it then. Nice. Well, I hope you get the chance to actually see that thing. See this supernova for yourself. Light Dark, you've just bought the Ascar 80 PHQ. Congratulations, mate. That is a lovely scope. Yeah, lots of people love those things. And with good reason. AZ Ray asks, does anyone know what an 18.34 reading on an SQM meter relates to in ball scale? I want to say 7 or so, I guess. Could be completely wrong, though. Chris Smith. Hey, good to see you again, Chris. When it comes to gain and offset on camera settings, how do you determine the offset? I'm running a 585 MC and love it, but never been sure of the offset to use and what it changes. So offset is a pedestal value that's added to every single exposure, which stops pixels being able to clip to black, therefore nullifying any data value that they have for you, Chris. So one decent way to set offset is choose the gain that you're going to image at, put the lens cap on your scope or camera or whatever it's attached to, and just let it loop some very short exposures like bias frames, 1 millisecond long or so, and then you can adjust the offset up while viewing a histogram view, like we are in SharpGap right now, until you push the main body of the histogram, which should be a very thin spike, away from the left-hand edge. That way you'll have set an offset that can't possibly clip to black, and that's my top tip for you. I hope that helps, mate. Okay, thank you, Luke, says Tariq. Yep, no problem at all, mate. No problem at all. Brody MK, look at that little cluster of galaxies in the top right star of the stars where the supernova is. Yeah, I mean, this little, this one here, I assume you mean, Brody, if we just zoom right into a bit of a ridiculous level. I can only imagine what's going on up there, mate. Probably not a very nice place for life, given that it's so bright for us. It must be unbelievable for any life form that might have happened there, but yeah, incredible. To look at these things and imagine what might be out there is always one of those things that just blows my mind. Crack the live stack open again and hit resume. I just misclicked. For anybody just joining, the supernova that we're viewing is right there underneath my mouse pointer. AZ Ray, Ball 7, I think. Yes, that was my guess as well, Pete. I think it is, but I'm around about that. Is it visible without exposure shots? Yeah, it should be visible in literally 5-second exposures or so. Aussie Gold. It's so bright right now. Currently, that supernova is brighter than the galaxy core, so it's really showing up easy. Crimson Drums, loving these live streams. Lay in bed just listening, absorbing. That's awesome, mate. So glad. And learning lots of stuff. Best channel on YouTube. Oh, can't say fairer than that. Thank you, mate. Too kind. Chris Smith. Oh, I'm so glad that, mate, that worked out for you. That's good. I know that stuff like that can really seem confusing at first, but it's actually a fairly simple setting. Is offset once you get to know what it does. So thanks for asking that. Blue Lemon, thanks for your help. You're going to head off now. Hey, thank you for joining in, mate, and good luck on your exams. I imagine they're coming up soon as well. Brody MK. No, if you go right from that nebula to that brighter star, there is a little galaxy cluster. Oh, yes. I see what you mean, Brody. Those. Yeah, that is incredible. Who knows what sort of instrument you'd need to be able to image those. You definitely need to be in space as well, eh? Atmosphere's not going to allow that, but wow. I wonder just what is going off there these days. You have just pointed out something there as well, Brody. That is one of my favourite things. Looking at images where, you know, the main target's beautiful, but it's all the little stuff that really makes it interesting, like those. Oh, you didn't go anywhere, Chris. Yeah. No worries, mate. No worries. I didn't know if you'd gone for a bit and came back. Clouds building in Manchester, says Green Cat. Yeah, same here, mate. I don't think I've managed to stack an exposure in ages. Literally like half the session that I've been imaging now, unfortunately. But we're doing his best. We're doing his best. It's spectacular that it was only found 250 years ago and we get to witness it. Which is that, sorry, Aussie Gold? I may have misinterpreted what you were saying there, mate. Let's take a look and see exactly what's going on this. Alright, it does look like the clouds are just completely stopping play. That is unfortunate. We'll give it a few more minutes, and if nothing's happening, guys, we can just wrap things up, I guess. Here's what it is. Someone asked about a mineral moon, by the way, earlier, so I will find you an image. Because I definitely did take something. Yeah, here's a mineral moon shot for you. Sorry, I can't remember exactly who asked for it, but this was taken, I do believe, with the Skywatcher Esprit 80 and a 533 MC Pro. So pretty modest setup. But still, pretty colourful. Neat to see the large deposits that's been left behind by whatever meteorite impacts placed all those elements there on the face of the moon. The pinwheel and Messier galaxy. Yeah, true. I understand now, mate. Yeah, I got added to Charles Messier's catalogue. Can't take my eyes off, to be honest. Oh, mate, that's awesome. It's an education for me on both your live streams so far. I'm only 2 months into this hobby. I remember you mentioning that. Yeah, that's crazy. You're learning so much. Very much appreciated. My absolute pleasure, mate. I really am glad that you're getting so much out of this. So thanks for spending your time with us, Chris. Oh, mate, thank you so much for that. That is incredibly kind of you. I really appreciate that. I never know what to say. I really don't when people do kind of things like that. Just thank you, mate. Yeah. Crimson Drums says the Northern Hemisphere defo has the best targets by a long shot. Carina is nice, but we have it the best. Yeah. It was me who asked for the minimum one. Sorry about that, mate. Yeah, I had forgot. And that was a great shot. My next project, I reckon. Go for it. Yeah. I wish you all the best of luck with that one. Pete's Astro. Agree with that, Luke. When I reprocessed my M51 with BXT, Astro bin tagged a new galaxy that didn't appear before. Wow, man. That's superb. More than 1 billion light years away. Certainly makes you think of it. It does. Yeah, it does, mate. I can only imagine just how full the universe is of life. It's incomprehensible. We're just a little bit of it, aren't we? Blimey, yeah. Thanks again for that, Chris. That's nuts. Time for a refill, I reckon. Let's take a look. So it seems like M63 was the object of choice for perhaps the next future live stream. If nothing interesting happens with this M101 anyway, that's always going to be on the back of my mind at the minute, keeping an eye on this thing. AZ Ray says, I'm still working through the Pixie Insight videos you posted. Lots to learn. Me too, mate. To be honest, I've still got so much to learn. It's just nice that the little bits that I do know that work for me, I'm able to share via YouTube, thanks to this platform that we've been afforded to make use of, and with it, help some people out there. This is a really good feeling, and I'm very grateful to be able to do it. What's with the name of all the galaxies that are in lines like a web? Could you maybe be mentioning the Virgo supercluster? My pleasure. I appreciate the help too. Thank you. Hey, thank you again, Chris. Genuinely, mate. And on that, it's thanks to support from everybody really watching, but especially, I mean, people going above and beyond like that makes all the difference. So thank you. Thanks again for the tutorials, Luke. My pleasure, Ray. Really, mate. Crimson Drums. Good job. You're swigging Pepsi and not Coke. So much tastier. Agreed, mate. Agreed. Jeff Teasdale. Hi from Kenya. Incredible, mate. Hope you're having a wonderful day out there. Great channel and content. That's extremely kind of you. Thank you. Brody MK. Macarian's Chain. Yes, he could have been mentioning Macarian's Chain. I don't know why my mind immediately jumped to the Virgo supercluster. It's just that does really look like a spider's web. I guess it was a good descriptor that you used. Wow. Hopefully. Let's take a little look. Okay, my hope is immediately dashed. I was going to say hopefully it's clearing up a little bit, but take a look at that. We can't see a thing. Oh dear. Yeah, I guess the next thing for me is take some flats and go from there, I reckon, with this. Potentially it seems like my night is over on this target. Crimson Drums says the Leo triplets would be a top live stream. It would, yes. I think that particular horse might have bolted from the stables already, mate. It's getting kind of out of view for me right now, so that could be a next year thing, that one. I'd like to. I mean, I'd like to go after some more less frequently imaged objects, should I say, if I can talk. And take a look at that side of astronomy for people. AZ Ray says, are you using the Rasa tonight? I am indeed, my friend, yes. I'm using the Rasa 11 f2.2. Are you still using your Rasa 8 and enjoying it, mate? I know when looking at your Astro bin and from messaging back and forth with you in the past, you were really enjoying that. Rick says, no cloud in Leicester. Looks like you might want to take me up on my data pooling suggestion. Yeah, mate. Jeez. It's not gone great, has it? I thought we were set for a full clear night, but at least we got something. We're able to see it a little bit. Aussie Gold says, NASA or James Webb put it up the other day. I'm searching and I'll have it back to you on that. But imagining all the life. Yeah. Imagine the countless possibilities out there in space. Even just looking at this one galaxy that we're viewing right now, who knows what's possibly out there. I definitely believe that, that we're not alone. That's for sure. Rocket City Astro, hello there, mate. Thank you very much for joining. Come and spending some time with us. Dumpy Dalek says, well, it's bad enough being musked. Musk bombed. But I've just had an airliner go through a frame now. You can't win tonight, mate, can you? You're up against it. Green Cat says, can we see you doing flats? I can never get them right. I've used a t-shirt and a light panel method. Sure, mate. If you want to see me capture some flats, then I'm happy to do that. Rocket City Astro, hey at AZ Ray. You'll be live in about half an hour. Nice. Going live, you can pick up where I've left off then, mate, I guess. AZ Ray, I do still use it. Fantastic, mate. Such a nice scope. You just took your Rasa 11 off the mount and put on your 925 edge. Superb. Crimson Drums says, tomorrow's meant to be clear all night, according to Clear Outside app. Will you be live streaming if this holds true? Potentially not tomorrow night. I know I need to get a video edited that I've already recorded ahead of time, so I might have to cram some time in on that. But who knows? Maybe I can get that done earlier in the day. I'm not sure. We will see. That's the best I can offer. I'm really sorry. Now, I guess it looks like my session is over, so I'm going to stop these exposures. And Green Cat requested to see me capture some flats, so I'm going to do that. So first thing for me, Green Cat, if you are watching right now, Flat Wizard on Nina. I'm going to use its slew to zenith tool because I don't have a flats panel that can be mounted on the end, so I have to actually point it directly straight up to zenith, so I can basically sit the flat panel on its back in my case because it has a better diffusing of the light rather than using the front facing side of it on the end of the scope. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to hit slew to zenith. Pete's Astro asks, Luke, do you do this YouTube full time now? Yes, mate. This is my job effectively now. It's a lovely position to be in, and it's all thanks to you guys. So thanks again. I'm in the lucky position where I don't really have much financial outgoings per month right now, so I can pursue something a bit daft like this and hopefully grow it to the point where it's, really, really viable. Brody MK, just watched an incredible sunset due to the smoke. The sun was pink and safe to look at. That's awesome, mate. Looking at a nuclear reaction, eh? So we should have slewed up now, up to the zenith. I'm going to go ahead and use, if I can find it, a little battery bank to power my flat panel. So I'll be back in just a moment, guys. I'm going to go sit that on the end of the scope, so 2 secs. This is what I'm talking about, by the way, when I meant flat panel. It's just an A3 tracing pad that I used to use for all my flats. Works all right. Ooh. Alright, so it's on the end and it's illuminated. This is still for you, by the way, Green Cat. So now with this current settings, as I've got on right here, so I'm looking for a mean target histogram value of 50% across, so like 32.7K. And I'm going to hit go. I've got a tolerance of 10%. Excellent, very happy for you. Thank you very much indeed, Pete. That's really kind, mate. Honestly, I feel so just lucky and blessed that I can do this and make a go of it. AZ Ray says, I imaged M51 last night and tried to follow your processing instructions, but I must have done it wrong. Didn't come out so good. I'll keep trying. That's the key, I think, mate. Just keep trying, Ray, because goodness knows my images don't always turn out right the first time, you know what I mean? Sometimes it takes a little bit of a while and you get into it, into the groove for that particular data. And Juby says, this is where we need a cold room camera for the stream. True! That would be pretty neat, wouldn't it? If I could switch to that and show you exactly what I'm doing. All I did do, though, is just stand on top of a pair of step ladders, because the end of my scope's about 10 foot high. And balance that flat panel on, put it on its lowest brightness. Tariq says, this hobby is an addiction. Agreed. Yes, it is. I still remember when I cried the first time buying my first mount and the first scope in 2017. And now you're sitting here with scopes 9 or 10. Wow. Good for you, mate. That's fabulous. I'm really happy you've got so much gear to enjoy the skies with. Hobbs 5th. Luke, I am incredibly grateful for your work. Hey, my pleasure, mate. Thank you. You have helped reinvigorate my love for astrophotography. That's awesome. I have a Racer 8 and the Poseidon C Pro ordered. What adapters / connections for the image train do you use? So, on my Racer 8, excuse me, I used to use the Starizona adapter plate, which contains a little set of threads for a filter to be mounted front facing. I found that was a really good bit of kit, so it made sure everything held completely flat in place. And the Poseidon, you may get lucky, just like any camera, and it may arrive with absolutely no image plane tilt. But if it does, the Poseidon is the easiest camera I've ever used to correct for tilt. So there's that going for it. Congratulations, by the way, on all your new gear, mate. That's superb. Linux Astro. I wonder if there's a market for streaming cloud bottoms, mate. Yeah, I'd be there. So hopefully you can see Green Cat, by the way, if you're still watching. It's just nearly finished taking 25 flats. In a moment, it's going to ask me to cover the end of the scope. So to do that, I'm not actually going to really cover it because these flats are so short in duration. I'm actually just going to turn the flat panel off. by unplugging it, so there's no LED light bleeding in from the power bank or anything. I'll go do that now, and that will act as my scope cover effectively. Wow, okay, so the scope's now effectively covered because I've robbed its power bank. Put that away. And now it's going to take some dark flats, which I'm just going to treat as bias frames at this point. Crimson Drums, you have the best job in the world, bud. I do, mate, that is true. Doing what you love isn't a job as such, it's true also. And you also have a girlfriend that into Astro as well. You have been blessed, my friend. I couldn't agree more. You're absolutely right, mate. Honestly, every day I wake up and I'm just thinking, is this some sort of weird dream? But no, I'm just that lucky. Again, though, and I have to stress this, it really is thanks to you guys that I'm able to actually pursue this at all as an idea. So thanks again. Massive asks, Luco, do you still have / run your 12-inch Newtonian? Mate, I wish that I did. I loved that telescope, but it was just too big for the observatory. If I was building again, and I would build a bigger observatory next time if I ever make another one, then yes, I would keep it. But now I've got the Rasa 11 anyway. It's taken the sting out of that one a little bit. Sorry, I'm a little bit late on some of these replies, by the way, guys. Taking flats on the Rasa, I know how joyous that can be. Yes. Yeah, of all the scopes I've used, the Rasa is the most awkward to take flats with. But still totally doable, at least. The Thanos Bean. Hi, Luke. What are your plans for this summer? Any challenging targets or anything new you want to try this summer? Very good question, mate. My plans for the summer are enjoy the sun while it's here. Stop cursing its existence for giving me such such short nights this far north. But in terms of Astro, I'd like to go after some slightly less frequently imaged targets, really. So stuff like planetary nebulas, that kind of thing, using the Rasa 11. So to do that, I'm perhaps going to investigate lucky imaging again as a holdover. Rather than constantly doing long exposure deep sky, I want to try and do some short exposure lucky imaging and try to aim for resolution as much as I can. I hope that answers that one for you, mate. James Duggan, okay, have a good one. Luco and everyone in the chat, thanks very much indeed for joining in, mate. I'm sorry if I've missed you going there. You got to go out, life gets in the way, it does. Starizona adapter plate with the Poseidon C. Oh man, I'm so grateful, thank you. Hey, it's my pleasure, mate, my pleasure. And yeah, the Starizona adapter plate, a prime purchase, 100% worth the money. The adapters that will come with your Rasa 11, they might look like they're alright, but they've got little foam pads on them, which unfortunately mean that your camera almost invariably is going to end up tilted when you tighten it down, whereas the Starizona is a metal on metal connection once tightened down, and it just works every time. I never had an issue with it, so there's that. Tariq mentions, is it really worth going with a full frame sensor in Astro? Say you have a full frame and an APS-C using different scopes to gain the same field of view. Is there any pros to the full frame over the APS-C sen? Yes, there is still advantages to going with full frame, because to get that same field of view, generally that's going to mean you're gathering more light overall. Sorry about clearing my throat into mic like that. With the full frame sensor, but I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill out of this, because the advantages to big sensors and stuff like that are not like they are in daytime photography, where you might be looking at them for a different reason, such as gaining depth of field control when doing shoots. I certainly don't feel hamstrung when using a small sensor. I will say that, Tariq. Green Cat says, cheers, I'll try this later. No problem, mate. I hope that's been useful for you. That's all I'll do, and those will work fine. How many images does it take / stacked per hour? If you mean lucky imaging, mate, what are we talking about? Potentially hundreds and hundreds. Oh, Hobbs Fifth, hey, thank you very much for joining, mate. That's hugely kind of you. I really appreciate that. Welcome aboard. Crimson Drums, are you going camping again, bud? If you do, don't get lost. Oh, God. I was talking to Josh again just recently, and we are actually planning another camping trip at some point. I don't know if people on YouTube want to see it, but that would be pretty cool to share again. I know me and Josh actually both enjoyed watching the video back, as daft as that sounds. Seeing it happen again takes you straight back to that, and it's a good set of memories. AZ Ray, I agree the Rasa works great for Nebula. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Aussie Gold, enjoy the heat. 11:08 AM here, and it's 4 degrees. Oh, up in the mountains near the snowfields. You don't really think of snow when you think of Australia, or at least we don't. But yeah, it does have mountainous regions, doesn't it? That are snow-capped. Fantastic. The Thanos Bean, another question. This one is pretty cool. Any plans to visit any star parties like Cherry Springs or ones in North America? I'm going this year and I wish I were able to meet some everywhere. Good question. I'd like to attend some in the UK at some point, and perhaps if YouTube, goes well, keeps going well, and I can increase my earnings on here a bit to the point where I'm, comfortable and not worried about the cost of things, then booking flights to go to star parties and things like that probably becomes a lot more accessible at that point. It's just right now, for me and my financial situation, it'd probably be a bit of a extravagance, is all. So, unfortunate, but I'd rather be totally real with you and let you know. Hey Luke, fun live stream. I have to leave to set up my kit. Cheers, mate, and clear skies. Hey, clear skies to you too, Dave. Best of luck, mate. Best of luck. Some people like Alan Wallace and you. Oh, mate. Yeah, it's very kind of you. I would love to meet everybody I possibly can, because it's always genuinely a real pleasure to be able to do that. But yeah, it's just a case of cost right now. It is the main issue. Brody is asking, would you go to the Southern Hemisphere? Yes, I would. I'd love to go to New Zealand, Australia, that kind of thing. Yeah, I'd just love it. Wombat, off to a coffee date, mate. Catch you on your next one. Enjoy yourself, mate. That's what life's all about. Hope you have a fantastic day, and thanks for jumping in. Aussie Gold, well, they're 2 hours away. I guess the mountains, yeah. But it snows here from time to time. That's nuts. We're already steady, -1, -2 in the nights. It might get to -8 or -10. And then in summer it'll hit +40. That's such a wild temperature swing. We actually had that last year, though. We had some seriously cold nights during winter. And then last year here in the UK, I don't know if it was reported anywhere outside of the UK, but we did exceed 40 degrees for a few days. It just ground the country to a total halt. Pete's Astro, talking about America, are you going next year to see the total solar eclipse? I have a good friend in Houston, so I'll probably go over to watch it. That's awesome, mate. Yeah. I don't know. Potentially, that would be something cool to see. I'll have to look into that one, I guess. It's a case of just, again, saving up for it, really. Brody MK, have you considered the AM5? I have considered the M5, yeah. Eventually, one day. There's no finite date on it, but we will probably look to swap out Chloe's NEQ6 that she's got, as it's very, it's an old mount now. Even though it still works really well, I know she wants to explore newer stuff at some point. And then we may look at the AM5 as one of the prime options because it seems to be a really good mount. Chris Smith, I think we hit 41 in leads last year. Wow, it's disgusting. Yeah, I think it reached 41 AM8 basically. It was, I just remember being sat outside the house in a lawn chair just thinking, when will this end? It wasn't nice. Two Rivers Observatory. Hey Luco, can you go through the SharpCap setup for using already captured images for stacking? Sure thing, mate. Yeah, no problem. So we'll just open up SharpCap on the other view. Currently, I've got it selected as a folder monitor camera, if you can see this. So I'll just deselect that. I'll close the live stack and clear it and everything. So it's like we're going from fresh. So instead of connecting the camera, I'm going to connect folder monitor camera. You will point it towards your source folder where your files are located by using browse. So you just click the button, wait a moment because unfortunately there's a little bit of lag as it's going across my network to fetch this source folder. If yours is all local, you won't have this problem. So any second. Here we are. Okay. So we've got all these files. Bear in mind, a majority of those are not useful. So I'm going to click one, click all fits files. I'm going to open up live stack. Make sure that my settings are where I want them to be, such as filtering on full width half max, filtering on brightness, that kind of thing. And at that point, you can hit play. So the process frames button, and it'll start bringing in the frames one by one and stacking them up, mate. So you'll hopefully see this develop once again back to the point where we were viewing it just before. Hope that helps show you that there, mate. Jesus Pinheiro. I hope I get your name right, mate, because you're such a top guy. Thank you very much for joining in. I hope it's nice and clear for you over in Spain. Crimson Drums. I'm thinking of getting the Optilong L Extreme. Would you recommend, or do you know of a better rival filter for nebulas? The L Ultimate. Yeah, if you can, I want to say justify spending that extra cash, because it really does seem insane how much a tiny piece of glass costs. But yeah, the L Ultimate's a good choice. The Antlia 5nm is another good choice. The IDAS NBZ is another good choice, but that's not as narrow as the others, but it also is pretty much immune to halos. Rather nice to see. So there's some good choices for you. Linux Astro, great job tonight, Luke. I enjoyed it. Have a good evening. Thank you very much indeed, mate. I really appreciate you jumping in and spending some time. Cheers. Pete's Astro, we got to 35 in Scotland. Yeah, wasn't very nice, given it's normally less than a third of that. Absolutely, I can appreciate that, mate. Yeah, that's horrendous. Omar, thank you very much for jumping in, Omar. That's awesome. I love your channel. Thanks for your tutorials. You've helped me a lot. Greetings from northern Chile. Clear skies. Clear skies to you too, mate. That's really nice of you to come along and say that. Thanks. Rick says, still bringing in the data, mate. Are you sure you don't want to pool? That's really kind of you, mate. I'll just go with what I've got, I guess. It's simpler for me that way, but I appreciate it. Thank you. If you want my data, though, you can have it once I've got it stacked up. Tariq. Yeah, kind of same suggestions as I've just mentioned there as well. Awesome. I'm sorry I'm taking so long to get to these comments. Brody MK, I need to do EAA someday. Absolutely you do, mate. Yeah, it's so much fun. It's a bit like a mix between visual and astrophotography. Rocket City Astro. I'm going to try this Nina SharpCap thing. Yeah, give it a go, mate. It's nice to see things progressing over the night. Aussie Gold. They do say the Australian outback gets the best shots in the Milky Way. I can appreciate that there. Yeah, you guys in the southern hemisphere get some really clean views of the galactic core. EAA is for most guys. I've only a few hours a night to image once I get my girls to bed. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, I can imagine you get a lot of fun from EAA in that kind of situation. That's fantastic, mate. Jesus, right now you're in Venezuela, again, for work reasons. But I will return to Spain soon to continue with my observatory project. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm really excited to see, by the way, how your observatory comes along, mate. I love seeing it. I know you went out recently, didn't you, and you were planning? But I haven't seen much since then, so it'd be interesting. Lockaton. Hi, I've just joined. Cloudy here and bottle 9. Wow. I was just wondering what your bottle zone is. So right here, mate, it's a 7. I'm imaging with a Celestron Rasa 11 with just a UV IR cut filter. So no light pollution filtration of any kind. And tonight has been not massively fruitful. I'm going to be real with you. I've got 32 minutes of just about usable frames, it seems, which we're viewing right now. So it is what it is. At least I got to spend some time with all of you guys. Rick would be more than happy to debate it into separate channels and see what I come with for sure. Superb, mate. Fire me over a email or something if you can, Rick, and I'll make it available to you on Google Drive or some. I'll figure it out. I'll make it available to you, mate, if you are genuinely want to take a look at it. Probably Starlink trains too these days. Yes, mate. Chris Smith, have you ever tried the Barda H Alpha 20 nanometer bandpass filters? Did they say for color cameras? Interesting. Saw them on the FLO website and wasn't sure what to think. I haven't tried them, mate. I haven't, if I'm being honest, I haven't even seen them. Yeah, I do think the modern Geo narrowband filters work really well with color cameras, especially the ones that are at the absolute ragged edge of development now as well. The most narrow, best controlled halos, that kind of thing. You seem to get some really nice data from those. I hope that's of use to you, Chris, mate. Rick, you're imaging from a Bottle 5. That's nice, mate. Yeah, it's a huge difference. I haven't imaged from a Bottle 5, but I've had the opportunity to actually go on a clear night and have a little look just visually, and it's incredible. You nearly get lost with the amount of stars extra that's visible there, whereas here we just see the brightest ones mainly, you know what I mean? In case you wanted to look. Yeah, I appreciate that, mate. I will have a little check out of those later on before I go to bed and stuff. Hobbies 5th. At least you're targeting what everyone wants. There's no need for apologies. That's very kind of you, mate. Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing my best. I can say that. I just need to go again and get this flat panel off the end of my telescope. It looks like the night is very much over for me right now, so I'm just going to go take that off the end of my scope, and I'm going to stop Chloe's imaging too, so just 2 seconds. Alright, cancel that. Yeah, I can really see why we're not getting usable frames. It's horrendous out there, just covered in clouds. So back over to Nina a sec. Let's take a look. Flat Park. So I've got all the data I need now, I guess. NGB. Thank you, Luke Matico. Great info, great stream. Time for dinner before sundown. Oh, mate, that sounds fabulous. Thanks very much indeed to you, mate, for joining. I appreciate it. I missed a message there by the looks of it. Sorry about that. I caught part of that message before it got retracted. Another Ray. Sorry if your messages are being automatically filtered or something there, Ray. Aussie Gold, thanks for your time and insight. Congrats on your new situation. Enjoy it. Time to get lunch started. Thank you. I really will enjoy it, mate. I definitely don't take anything for granted these days. So, yeah, cheers, mate. Hope you have a really nice lunch. Seems like everybody's off for some dinner now, making me hungry. Alright, we're parked up. I will disconnect the old camera. It's time to shut this thing down, I guess. Normally you don't see this part on my videos. Me just ending the session unceremoniously. Shut down. Yes, so I think that's about it, guys. I very much enjoyed streaming to you all. I hope that you've enjoyed watching, sharing information back and forth, pinging off one another. It's been a heck of a lot of fun, and yeah, it seems like the interest is there among you guys to do some more of these. So yeah, I can't see any reason why we can't do that. It is, after all, my profession now. I best stop shirking off from work. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for watching, Kev. Really appreciate that, mate. I think you've sent me your cloud. No, I've still got plenty in my own cloud as well. Thanks, mate. Rick, just drop me an email. No problem, mate. I'll get to that as soon as I possibly can. Thank you, Brody. Thank you again, mate. Really appreciate it. Chris, thanks again, mate, for your really kind donation as well. Massively, massively appreciated. Night there, Pete. Rocket Lab SFS. You have a 102 Maxitov and a DSLR. You're trying to get an EQ M35. Should I buy it? Yeah. I don't see any reason you shouldn't buy it, mate. If you're looking at that class of mount, you could certainly do a lot worse than that on, yeah. Good bit of kit. Have a great night. Waiting for the clouds to move out. Good luck on that Rocket City. I really, really, fingers crossed for you, mate. Hope you get a chance to shoot. AZ Ray, thanks again. Thanks again to you, mate, as well. Appreciate it. Night to you too, Ball. Yeah. Night from Brisbane. Cameron, great to see you there, mate. Thanks for joining the chat. Another Ray from cloudy Tenerife. Tenerife. Love Tenerife, mate. Been there a couple of times. Really nice black beaches. Thanks for joining in. You be stopping yourself, yeah. Can't wait for your next stream. That's really good to hear, mate. Massively appreciate it. Rocket Lab, you have an Altaz mount right now. Yeah, it's going to be a huge upgrade for you then, mate, going from Altaz to a tracking go-to equatorial mount. That's awesome. Gary, missed some of the show, but really enjoyed what I saw. Oh, mate, that's extremely kind of you to say. Thank you. And Antonio, for you, mate, that right there, the feature that looks like a bright blue shelled star, is indeed the supernova. Bear in mind, because I am imaging with a mirrored telescope, the RASA, it is going to appear mirrored, literally, for you. So if you're shooting it through something like a refractor, your image will be a slightly different one to mine. Spot on, mate. I'm glad that came across for you. Yeah, that's about it then, guys, I'd say. So, what can I say other than just huge thanks to everybody joining, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. So until then, as I always say, look after yourselves and clear skies, I think. Yeah. Cheers again.